is she has filed an answer, and in fact has appeared through counsel. Insofar as the reading of the articles of impeachment is concerned, it will be done at the final resolution of this case when it is put to a vote by the senator judges, where each article of impeachment will be read before a vote shall be taken thereon. For those reasons, the motion is denied, and the lead prosecutor, Representative Luistro, may proceed with her opening statement. Kindly be mindful of the clock, and before recognizing you, ma'am, may I remind the counsels for the parties to kindly address the chair with respect to anything and everything they want or wish to say before the court, and not to address each other. The lady may proceed. Representative Luistro, you are recognized, and you have 15 minutes for your opening remarks.
We thank the court, Your Honor.
Mr. Presiding Officer, the Honorable Cheese Escudero, the Honorable Senate President, Honorable Win Gatchalian, sa atin pong mga kagalang-galang na Senator Judges, mga minamahal na kababayan, sa loob ng bulwagan o sa labas man, mga nakatutok sa telebisyon, sa cellphone o sa radyo, saang sulok man ng mundo kayo naroroon. Maraming Pilipino ang nagtatanong ngayon, bakit mahalaga ang paglilitis na ito? Ano ang kaugnayan nito sa buhay ng ordinaryong Pilipino? Lubos po naming nauunawaan ang mga tanong na yan. Sa katunayan, may isang driver na nagtatanong, paano sasapat ang kita sa pasada upang mapakain niya ang kanyang pamilya? May isang OFW na nagtatanong, hanggang kailan kailangan lumayo upang mapaaral niya ang kanyang mga anak? May isang guro na nagtatanong, paano pagkakasyahin ang kanyang sahod sa dami ng utang na hinuhulugan? May isang manggagawa na nagtatanong, hanggang kailan magtitiis sa pansamantalang trabaho at kakarampot na sweldo? Sa unang tingin, maaring sabihin na malayo sa buhay nila ang paglilitis na ito. Ngunit hindi. Hindi po. Sapagkat ang usapin ngayon ay patungkol sa isang bagay na pag-aari nilang lahat. Ang kanilang pera, ang kanilang tiwala, ang kanilang karapatan na maningil ng pananagutan mula sa mga pinuno na kanilang pinagkatiwalaan. Kapag ang isang empleyado ay nagkamali ng paggamit ng pera ng kumpanya, siya ay pinagpapaliwanag. Kapag ang isang barangay treasurer hindi maipaliwanag ang nawawalang pondo, siya ay iniimbestigahan. Kapag ang isang principal ay naglustay ng pera ng bayan, kahit 5,000 lang yan, siya ay pinaparusahan. Natural lamang na magtanong ang sambayanan kung ang ordinaryong Pilipino ay pinapanagot. Bakit hindi ang pinakamakapangyarihan na opisyal ng pamahalaan? Ito ang dahilan kung bakit mahalaga ang paglilitis na ito. Hindi upang usigin ang isang tao, hindi upang maghiganti sa kalaban, hindi upang manalo sa politika, kundi upang sagutin ang isang tanong na napakahalaga sa kinabukasan ng ating republika. May saysay pa ba ang pananagutan sa ating bansa? Sapagkat ang kasong ito ay higit at lampas sa sino mang opisyal. Higit at lampas sa anumang partido. Higit at lampas sa alinmang administrasyon. Your Honors, the framers of the Constitution understood that there may come a day when
Presidente ang
extraordinary power
nakaupo.
would be
Kasalanan ko
entrusted
ba yun?
to extraordinary
In what
office.
particular portion of the subject
also
video
understood
did the Vice President utter
That
that?
there may come a day when trust would be broken. And that is why
55
they
minutes,
gave the House of
26
Representatives
seconds,
the
to
power
timestamp
to
55
impeach,
minutes and 37 seconds. Sir.
and the Senate
Okay.
the duty
Now,
to
what
judge,
about the statement that I quote?
not to
Hindi
punish
ko alam.
political
Isang beses
opponents,
sinabihan ko talaga
not
si
to
Senator
settle
Amy.
political scores,
Pag di tumigil,
but to protect
huhukayin ko
the
ang tatay nyo
republic
at itatapon ko siya sa West Philippine Sea. In what
That is
particular
why the
portion
Constitution
of the video
declares
did the Vice President utter
public
those words?
office is a public
Timestamp
trust
1 hour 11 minutes
Ang
and
kapangyarihan
28 seconds
ay
to
hindi
1 hour
pag-aari
11
ng
minutes and
sino mang
42
opisyal.
seconds, sir.
And finally,
Hiram lamang
as to the
ito
statements,
sa
I
taong bayan.
quote, kung presidente
At ito
nyo kay
ang
siya
dahilan
okay lang, ako
kung
hanggang
bakit
Vice President lang.
naririto tayo ngayon.
Hanggang Vice President lang ako.
Your Honors,
hanggang number 2 lang itong bansang
the
ito. Wala itong
prosecution
number
will
1 para
present
sa akin. In what
exactly
particular
what the
portion of that
Constitution
video did the
requires.
Vice President utter those words?
Evidence.
On timestamp
Hindi
1 hour
chismis.
4 minutes and 2
Hindi
seconds
haka-haka.
to 1 hour 4 minutes
Hindi
and 16
propaganda.
seconds.
At
Your Honor,
lalong
this
hindi
representation
SOCMED narrative.
took notes of the timestamps. Your Honor,
Evidence.
please. We now move
Official
for,
records.
we go to the next question.
Financial
Now, Mr. Witness,
documents.
I'm about to
Government
show you
reports.
the
video
specific
recording,
portions
statements
of the
under
recording
oath,
of the
independent
October 18,
findings
2024
of
press
institutions
conference.
created by law.
Now you tell us, after viewing
Mga
these
dokumento
portions, what
na hindi
relations do
bumoboto.
they have with the subject video of
Mga
that
records
October
na
18,
walang
2024
partido.
video that you identified?
Mga
If
katotohanan
any, okay?
na walang
Now,
kulay
Your Honor, we
pampolitika.
move that Attorney
Sa
Stephen
unang
Magallaon be
tingin,
allowed to proceed to the technical
maaring
booth
magmukhang
to bring
magkakahiwalay
the flash
ang 4
drive
articles
and
of
for the
impeachment.
Secretariat to play specific
Confidential
portions
fund,
of the video
unexplained
identified by the
wealth,
witness.
Conditioned upon
bribery and
counsel being
corruption,
accompanied by a
threat
representative of
against
the counsel
constitutional
for the
order.
respondent so that
But
the
these
exact
are
same
not
USB
4
flash drive
separate
will
stories.
be the one that will be played.
These are 4
To guide
chapters.
the Secretariat,
of the
Your Honor,
same
please,
story.
these are the timestamps that the
Story
prosecution
about
would like
power
to present.
exercised without
First,
accountability.
from 1 hour,
Story about public
35
trust
minutes
betrayed.
to 57 seconds.
Story about
to
public
1
office
hour, 36
that stopped
minutes and 10
answering to
seconds
the
as the
public.
first video, and the second video is from
On the first
1
article
hour,
of impeachment,
36 minutes, 52
the evidence
seconds
will
to
show
1 hour,
that
36
more than
minutes and 58
612 million
seconds.
pesos in
So
confidential
move, Your Honor,
fund
please.
entrusted to the office of the Vice President and the Department of
Secretariat is
Education
instructed
where
to
dispersed,
kindly
transferred
play
and
the video
liquidated
in the presence
under
of both
circumstances
counsels for the
that
parties.
cannot withstand scrutiny. 612 million pesos. Hindi ito pera ng gobyerno. Pera ito ng sambayanan. Pera ng manggagawa. Pera ng magsasaka. Pera ng OFW. Pera ng guro. Pera ng bawat Pilipino na nagbabayad ng buwis at nagtitiwala na gagamitin ito ng tama. The evidence will show liquidation reports supported by questionable documents. The evidence will show acknowledgement receipts bearing names government records could not verify. Names that transformed accountability into a mockery.
Gusto ko
Pananagutan na naging
tanggalin yung ulo niya
kalokohan.
ba?
Names that insulted the intelligence of the Filipino people. Mary Grace Piatos, Milky
realized-
Sikuya, Kokoy Villamin. On the second article of impeachment, the evidence will show financial transactions involving billions of pesos associated with the respondent and
And
her
the
husband.
second video, please. Timestamps 1
Billions.
hour, 36 seconds to 50,
Hindi milyon,
36 minutes
bilyon.
to 52 seconds to 1
At
hour,
habang
36 minutes
milyon-milyong
and 58
Pilipino
seconds, please.
ang nagtratrabaho at nag-iipon buong buhay
Cutting his
upang
hand.
magkaroon ng sariling bahay, makapagpaaral ng mga anak, magkaroon ng kaunting
Gusto ko-
seguridad para sa pamilya.
Ganun din ang gusto
Aba,
ko.
bilyon-bilyong
Mr. Witness,
piso ang
you
dumaan
heard the
sa mga
Mr.
bank
Witness,
accounts na
You
hindi
heard the
may
Vice
paliwanag
President
ng maayos.
mentioning
This article is not about wealth.
cutting somebody else's head
This is about
based on your
accountability.
investigation.
This is about
Based on
explanation.
your investigation.
if wealth was lawfully acquired?
Kaninong ulo ba?
Where is the lawful explanation?
Yung nire-refer ng Vice President
If
na gusto niyang
transactions
tanggalin.
were proper, where is the
The
complete
President, sir.
accounting? If numbers
Ulo ng
truly add
Presidente.
up,
Yes,
then
sir.
why do they refuse to reconcile?
Mr.
On the third
President,
article of impeachment,
you also
the
mentioned
evidence will show
timestamps
bribery,
50,
graft and
1
corruption
hour 38
through the
minutes to 32
distribution of cash
seconds
payments and
and
monetary
1
gifts
hour
to
38 minutes to
officials
48 seconds.
under the
may
supervision
we have
of the
that
respondent.
specific portion be played?
This article is not simply about envelopes. This is about institutions.
So, doon, na-realize ko,
This is about
toxic
whether
na, diba?
loyalty
Ganyan na yung,
was purchased rather
ganyan
than
na
earned.
yung imagination mo.
Government
Imagination mo,
cannot
sinasakal mo na
function
yung,
if loyalty
tao.
is
And then I
purchased
said,
instead of earned.
this is over.
Kapag nabibili ang katapatan, nawawala ang integridad.
Then what about
At kapag
from
nabibili ang
timestamps
opisyal,
55 minutes, 26
nabubudol
seconds
ang
to
bayan.
55 minutes, 37 seconds, please?
Perhaps the greatest tragedy is where the conduct allegedly occurred. In the Department of Education.
To elaborate po.
Tama po sa DepEd.
Hindi marunong maging
The
presidente.
institution entrusted with teaching
Ang
future
nakaupo.
generations honesty,
Kasalanan ko ba yun?
responsibility, integrity. On the
Ba't
fourth
sinasabi
article of
ng mga
impeachment,
tao, kasalanan mo kasi
the
hindi ka
evidence
tumakbo,
will show
ikaw sana yung
culpable
presidente,
violation of
hindi
the
siya.
Constitution.
But
High
then I
crime,
said,
betrayal
maaga
of
ako
public
nagsabi
trust through
na
conduct that threatens
ako,
constitutional order.
tatakbo for
Among all
president. May mga
allegations before
madaming
this court, none strikes more directly at the heart
Now,
of
what about
constitutional order
from
than this one.
timestamps 1
Ito na po
hour,
ang
11 seconds,
pinakamatindi.
sorry, 1
And
hour,
unlike
11
in
minutes,
many
28
cases,
seconds, 1 hour,
which
11 minutes,
depends
42
upon
seconds.
competing accounts. This evidence comes substantially from the respondent's own recorded public statements. The court will see them. The court will hear them. The court will judge them. Public officials may disagree. We may criticize one another.
Hindi ko alam.
They
Pero
may
isang
compete
beses
fiercely
sinabihan
for
ko talaga
power.
si Senator Amy.
That is
Sabi ko sa
democracy.
kanya, hindi kayo tumigil.
But
Hukayin ko
democracy
yung
ends
tatay ninyo.
when violence
Itatapon ko siya
begins.
sa West Philippine Sea.
Sa kasaysayan
Sinabihan ko
ng
sa
ating
Senator Amy.
republika, walang PC
Thank
presidente.
you. What about from
Na may kaibigan na
timestamps
hitman.
1 hour,
Ngayon
4
lang.
minutes to 02 seconds
Walang
to
vice
1 hour,
presidente
04
nagpapapatay
minutes,
ng Pangulo.
16 seconds.
Ngayon lang. Walang vice presidente na handang magpapatay para lamang makaupo sa pwesto. Ngayon lang.
Ano? Ay, hindi.
The
Hindi ko
Constitution
na gusto. Kung
provides many
presidente niyo
means
siya, okay
on
lang.
how to resolve
Ako,
political
hanggang
conflict.
Vice President lang ako. Hanggang
Election,
number 2 lang itong bansa na ito.
legislation,
Wala itong number 1.
public debate, judicial
Para
review,
sa akin.
and even impeachment.
Yet,
But it
Okay.
does
You
not
proceed, Your Honor.
permit threats.
Mr. Witness, what relation, if any,
does
do
not
these
permit
portions
violence.
of that specific video
It
have
does not permit
with the
people
video
entrusted
you
with power
authenticated
to
as to
place
the
themselves
press
above
conference of the Vice
constitutional
President on
restraints.
October 18, 2023?
Your
Those
Honors,
video presented were portions
at the center of
of the
this
video
case
that I
lies
recorded
a
and
simple
authenticated,
question.
sir.
Thank you so much. Mr. Witness,
Perhaps
ano ba yung
the most
nangyari kung
important
meron pa?
to any
After you
republic.
authenticated,
When the
identified and
people
authenticated
entrust
the
power
video
to a
ng
public
Vice
official,
President on
Does
October
the
18,
public
2024?
official remain accountable
We
to the
perform
people?
open source
Or
investigation
do the
to
people
identify naman
become
po yung mga
accountable
naging
to the public
responses
official?
ng iba't ibang tao in
The
response to the
Constitution's
statement
answer
of
is very clear.
the Vice President po.
Ano ba
Power
yung naging
belongs to the
resulta
people.
kung meron man sa naging open source
Public office
investigation
is
nyo?
merely borrowed. And every
We found
borrowed
that the
power
President himself,
carries with it
the
the
former Speaker
obligation
of the
to
House,
account for
and
its
different
use.
governmental agencies made
If
their
a barangay
statement po
treasurer
in response to the statement
must
of the Vice
account
President.
for
So yung
public
presidente, yung
then
speaker,
so
former speaker of the
must the
House,
Vice
saka yung mga sinasabi mo mga governmental
If an
agencies
ordinary
nagbigay
public
ng
servant
kanilang
can
mga
be
tugon
investigated,
sa mga nasabi
then
ng
so
Vice President. Now, ano
can
ba
the
yung mga
highest officials of the
governmental
government?
agencies na ito that you are referring to?
If
Aside from the
ordinary
President
citizen
and the former
is
speaker of the
expected
House
to
of
obey the
Representatives.
rules, then surely
The armed forces of
those
the
who govern
Philippines,
them
the
must obey
Philippine
them
National
first.
Police, The National Security
Otherwise,
Council and the
What
Presidential
lessons do we
Communication
teach our
Officer.
children?
Okay now. Nasabi mo na yung presidente
That there is
ay
law for the
nag-issue ng
powerful
kanyang statement
and
in
another
relation
for
sa
everyone else.
naging mga pahayag ng Vice
That
President. Ano ba yung
accountability
naging
exists
pruweba mo sa
only for
naging
the weak.
statement ng Presidente?
That public office
I
grants
have taken a
immunity
screenshot
against
of the statement
accountability.
of the President on the official
Your
webpage
Honors,
of the Presidential
this is
Communication
not the
Office.
republic
And
envisioned
I
by the
also have a
Constitution.
video recording which I
This
authenticated
is not the
wherein the
republic
President made
deserved
such a
by the
statement, sir.
Filipino.
Okay, so nasabi mo, isang screenshot
Therefore,
at isang authenticated recording
the
ng Presidente.
prosecution
Now, let's go to the
asked only
screenshot.
this.
Sino yung kumuha ng screenshot
Look
kung alam mo?
at the evidence.
I did, sir, and I used my laptop.
Listen
Ginamit mo
to
yung
the
laptop
witnesses.
mo. Ano ba yung ginawa mo kung meron man?
Examine the records. Follow the evidence wherever it leads. Judge this case, not by politics, not by popularity,
Sa naging screenshot
not by
mo sa laptop
fear,
mo.
not by
I first saved an
loyalty.
electronic copy po nung screenshot.
Now,
sir.
saan
Judge
na tong
this case by the
screenshot,
Constitution.
Pinrint ko po.
Ha?
Judge
Pinrint ko
this
po.
case.
Print mo.
By the
Now,
evidence.
saan na yung printout ng screenshot na ito?
Years from now,
Sinabmit ko po sa Committee on Justice.
future
of House of
generations will
Representatives.
not remember.
Now, kung yung printout
Today's
ng naging
political
statement ng
alliances.
Presidente, sinabi mo,
They
title,
will not remember
message by
today's
President
headlines.
Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is
They
shown
will
to
not
you.
remember
Will you
today's
be able to
slogans.
identify the same?
Yes po.
What they
I'm
will
showing you
remember
now a
is when
printout.
accountability was tested, the institutions of the republic stood firm. They will remember only
Of
one
a
thing:
screenshot of the statement from the President
what this
titled,
court did.
quotes, message from President
the
Ferdinand R.
Constitution
Marcos
code.
Jr. and quotes, Your Honor,
Future
that is
generations will
previously
not
marked
ask
as Exhibit P
how powerful the
Roman
respondent
numeral
was.
4-12 for the prosecution
They will not ask
through
how
the
loud the
website
political
of the
debate
Presidential
became.
Communications Office. Now, question:
But they will
what
ask one
relation
thing.
what relation, if any, does
When the
this document have with
Constitution
the
code
printout that you mentioned?
Did the republic answer? Your Honors,
Your Honor, same
This is that
objections to
moment.
this printout.
this is the moment the Constitution anticipated.
May I know the
This
Your
is the
Honor, same
moment when
objections. There
accountability
is on
must
the
mean exactly what
right
it says.
bottom portion of the
This is the moment when
Annex I,
public
Annex
office must
P
truly
dash
remain
U
in
dash
public
12.
trust.
12A.
This is the
and
moment when the
until
republic
12B,
must demonstrate
there is
that laws
there
are applied equally
marked certified true
to the
copies from
powerful
the NBI
and the powerless alike.
signed Safirati dated 4/10/26.
At matapos marinig ang mga saksi,
Court made a previous ruling about this
Matapos
matter already,
masuri
but
ang mga
objection is
dokumento.
duly noted.
We submit, Your Honor.
matapos
Thank you. Mr.
matimbang
Witness,
lahat ng
how
ebidensya,
faithful, please?
ang
How faithful, if at
prosekusyon
all, is this printout
ay
from the actual
naniniwala at
screenshot?
naninindigan.
The
Isa
printout
lamang
accurately
ang maliwanag
reflects
na
the
konklusyon.
screenshot, sir.
And how do you know
Ang
that this
tiwalang
printout accurately
ipinagkaloob
reflects the
ay
screenshot?
nilabag.
I compared the
Ang
printout
kapangyarihang
with the screenshot
ipinahiram
and the
ay
webpage
inabuso.
wherein the message can be
At ang
seen and
konstitusyon
found that the
mismo
contents are identical,
ang
sir.
humihiling
Now, you
ng
mentioned that an
pananalig.
authenticated recording of the President making the
Amid
statement. You mentioned that.
the
Now,
clarity
yung
of the
question now
mandate
is, sino
of the
ba yung gumawa ng authentication na ito?
Political noise
I
continues.
did, sir.
Ano ba yung pruweba mo
Political
na ikaw
squabbles
talaga yung
continues.
nag-authenticate ng video na ito?
Political division continues.
It's part of the January
Please,
30
let me
affidavit
conclude.
of authentication of digital
Salus
evidence
populi
na in-identify
es
ko po
suprema
kanina.
lex.
Okay, Mr. Witness, ano
The
bang ginawa
welfare
mo
of the
kung
people
meron man?
is the supreme
Pagkatapos mo sinabi mong ni-record mo, tsaka in-authenticate
Thank you,
mo
Your
yung
Honor.
video ng Presidente
The
na
opening remarks of the
nagbibigay ng
prosecution through
statement
the
niya.
lead counsel is
Sinave ko po yung video
duly
sa laptop ko
noted.
and sa flash drive.
Oh, na-mention mo yung
Opening
flash
remarks
drive.
for the
Now, kung yung
respondent,
flash drive ipapakita sa iyo, ma-identify mo ba yan?
Yes po.
Now, Your Honor, please, we are in the process of confronting this witness ng isang flash drive that is previously marked for the prosecution as Exhibit P, Roman numeral
Your Honors,
4-13,
fellow
small letter A.
Filipinos, good afternoon.
Permission to unseal the
As we
flash
begin
drive, sir.
today the impeachment trial of the Vice
Witness may
President
do so.
and
Thank
in the
you, Your
days
Honor.
ahead, this court will undertake
Continuing
its
manifestation
constitutional
that
task
the
of
flash
receiving
drive contains the
and
recording
weighing
of the
parties'
President
evidence
making the
and
statement
ultimately
that
to
is
decide
previously marked as
whether
Exhibit
these
P,
pieces of evidence
Roman numeral
justify
4-13
either a
for the
judgment of
prosecution.
conviction or acquittal, guided only by its members' conscience and
This
their
is the
solemn
flash
oath
drive
to
where I
do
received the recording,
impartial
sir.
justice. The
Okay,
present
now,
undertaking of this court, therefore, not only
move that
carries
we
the
allow
weight of the
Attorney Stephen
Constitution,
Magallaon to proceed to the
but also the
technical booth
imprint
to
of our
have
nation's
the
history,
recording played on, please.
because the Filipino
To
people
be
have
accompanied
shown
by the defense.
that
They want
they
to.
never
So
forget.
ordered.
We, as a nation, never forget. But why is the act of remembering important? What does it matter to our history and to ordinary Filipinos? Because in this trial, the prosecution proposes that we unseat the Vice President elected to office by more than 32 million Filipino people, more than the number of votes cast for the sitting president, and much greater than any of the votes secured by each of the members of the House of Representatives who now are here to prosecute her and seek to undo this people's choice. Sa makatwid, ang malinaw na layunin sa likod ng mga paratang na ito ay ang pagpapatalsik sa isang vice-presidenteng inihalal ng mahigit 32 milyong Pilipino at bunga ng kanilang malayang
Nakakabahala
pagpapasya.
ang mga pahayag na narinig
Whatever
natin
one's
itong mga
political
nakarang
persuasion
araw.
is, the reality
Nandyan
is that
ang
the
walang
prosecution now
pakundangang
comes before
pagmumura
this court
at ang
to remove a vice
pagbabanta ng
president
planong
chosen by
ipapatay
an
ang
overwhelming
ilan sa
number
atin.
of the elected.
Kung ganun na lang kadali
You all
ang
have
pagplano
heard the
sa pagpatay ng
prosecution
isang
say
presidente,
repeatedly
paano pa kaya
that this is
ang mga
because they seek
pangkaraniwan na mamamayan?
accountability.
Yung
That the
ganyang
people have a
kriminal
right to
na
hold their leaders
pagtatangka
accountable.
ay
This is
hindi
not a
dapat
matter of
pinapalampas. Yan
Indeed,
ay
the
aking
people have a right
papanagan.
to demand
As a democratic
accountability
country,
from
we
their
need to
leaders.
uphold the rule of
What
law.
we have yet
Ako,
to hear from
bilang
the
pinuno
prosecution,
ng Executive
however,
Department,
is this.
at lahat ng mga
When the
nanunungkulan
Constitution
sa
declared
pamahalaan
under
ay
Section
may
1,
sinumpaang
Article
tungkulin
11,
na
that
tutok
public
din
office
at pangangalagaan
is a
ang
public
konstitusyon at ang
and that
ating mga
public
batas.
officers
Kaya hindi
and
tama
employees
ang
must at
pagpigil
all times
sa mga
be
halal
accountable
ng
to the
bayan
people.
sa
Serve them
paghahanap
with
ng
utmost
katotohanan.
responsibility,
Hindi na sana hahantong sa
integrity,
ganitong drama.
loyalty,
Kundo at sa House of
and efficiency.
Representatives,
Act
ang
with
katotohanan
patriotism
ay
and
hindi
justice,
dapat itokhang.
and lead
Tapos
or
na
best
sana
lives.
ang usapang ito.
The
Kung
Constitution
totoo
does
yan,
not only
ay
speak
magsabi
to the Vice
ng totoo
President.
at hindi
It also
hahadlangan.
demands the
Imbis
same
na diretsahang
standards
sagot,
from the
nililihis pa sa kwentong chicheria.
Being public
Hangad
officers
ko na
themselves,
matuldukan na
the
itong mga
public
pangyayari nito
prosecutors, and
sa
the members of
parang
the House of
matiwasay
Representatives
at magdadala
are
sa
also
atin sa
held to the
katotohanan.
same
12 taon din ako nanungkulan sa
And so
magkaparehong
we must
kamara ng
remember what
Kongreso.
history tells us.
Batid ko ang
This
kapangyarihan
is not the first
iginawad
time
sa kanila
that
ng taong
members of the
bayan
House
at
of
ng ating
Representatives
konstitusyon.
have
Dahil
attempted
dito,
to remove the
iginagalang
Vice
ko
President,
ang kanilang
and in a
gawa ng
manner
buong
not
executive branch.
compliant with
Lahat
the
ng mga ahensya ay hindi
In a July
nakakaligtas
25,
at parating
2025
sumasailalim sa
decision,
kanilang masusing
the Supreme
pagsusuri.
Court
Bilang
unanimously
isang bansa,
declared in Duterte
marami
versus
tayong
House of
mga
Representatives,
paghamon na dapat
GR
harapin
numbers
at mga suliraning dapat bigyan ng
and
lunas. Sa kabila ng mga
278,359,
pambabatikos,
that the
natin
impeachment
natin
proceedings in the
ikokompromiso ang
House of
rule of law.
Representatives
Kailangan
were tainted
manaig
with
ang
grave
batas
abuse
sa
of
anumang
discretion,
sitwasyon,
rendering
sino
the
man
articles of
ang tamaan.
impeachment that the
Kaya
House
hindi ko
transmitted last
hahayaan
year to the
magtagumpay
Senate
ang
as
hangarin ng
ab
iba
initio.
na hatakin
Early this year,
ang buong
The
bansa sa
Supreme Court
burak ng
unanimously
politika.
denied with finality
Galang natin ang
the House
proseso.
of Representatives
Ito pa rin ang katiwala
motion for
sa atin
consideration
ng
of that
milyon-milyon na
decision,
Pilipino.
with a
Magtrabaho po
reminder
tayo
that
sa
while
ikauunlad
impeachment
ng
is a
Republika ng
powerful
Pilipinas
democratic
at
process
para
to call
matamo
out
ang
corruption
bagong
and grave
Pilipinas.
abuse,
Your Honor, the defense
impeachment
puts on
can
record
be
that the video
abused,
was
and that
skipping,
impeachment should
and
never
then portions
be abused
where the
to maintain
president
the hegemonic
or
dominance
who seemed to be the
of greed by
president
shaming
was
those who
paused while
occupy
audio
high
was
government
continuing
positions
playing.
into preventing
So it's
them from
delayed.
doing
Yes, Your Honor.
what they were
Noted.
sworn to do.
Thank you.
But perhaps
Mr. Witness,
the
what
most
relation,
enduring
if any,
reminder of the
does that
Supreme
video
Court
have
that we
of
must
the
not
President
forget
taking the
in
statement,
the
if
entire
any,
course of
to
this
the video
trial
and President making
is
the
that
statement?
in the words of the
That is
court,
the video that I
the rule
recorded
of
and
law
authenticated, sir.
that does
All right, now proceed.
justice
You
is our
mentioned that the
lodestar.
Presidential Communications
justice
Office or
includes
PCO
accountability.
also issued a statement.
Justice
Ano yung
includes
pruweba mo na
fairness.
yung PCO
Without
nag-issue ng
fairness,
statement na iyan?
there is abuse.
I have a screenshot of the
fairness
webpage
is
of the
what our
Presidential
democracy
Communication
is all
Office
about.
wherein they considered the
It is in
statement
light
of
of
the
these
Vice
reminders
President
that
as an
we
active
draw
threat.
attention to certain
As an
fundamental
active
legal
threat.
principles
Okay, now,
that we think
sino
we
yung
must
kumuha
not
ng
forget
screenshot na yan?
throughout this trial.
I did, sir,
mga
and I used my
batayang
laptop.
prinsipyo
Now, saan yung
na dapat
print out
nating
ng
tandaan sa
screenshot na yan?
buong panahon ng paglilitis
Sinabit
na ito.
ko po sa
Ano man
Committee
ang
on
ating
Justice of
kulay o
House of
politika.
Representatives.
Now, aming
If we
ipinapakita
are to be
yung isang
true
print out ng
and
isang
honest
screenshot
to our
galing sa
proclaimed
website ng
values, such as
PCO
the
kung
pursuit of
saan yung
accountability,
statement, makikita yung
justice, and
statements ng
integrity
Vice
in our
President,
system of
sinasabi ng PCO,
then we must remain
that's an
possessed of
active
an
threat
unyielding
now,
resolve
previously marked as
to
Exhibit
ensure
P,
that the
dash
trial
Roman
and
numeral
judgment in this
414.
case are done
May you
in
peruse
accordance
the same.
with the command of
And
the
after
Constitution,
perusing the same,
the majesty of
the
the
question,
law, and the
Mr.
discipline required
Kalilong
by
is,
the rules.
what relation, if any, does this document
Otherwise,
have with the printout you mentioned? But
Those
you have to
who
peruse the document
stand
first.
in sanctimonious judgment of the Vice President will send a clear message
For the record again,
that
Your
the law
Honor,
can be
the-
bent when it suits the convenience of the
the
powerful,
Counsel may proceed.
and that justice can be sacrificed
Exhibit
at the altar of partisan interests.
P-4-14 is a
Mahalagang tandaan
photocopy,
ang mahigpit na
and
paalala
on the
ng ating Korte Suprema.
right bottom part,
Impeachment is
it is-
not
there is a
a
stamp
purely
marked
political
certified
proceeding.
true copy
It
NBI
is
signed
primarily a legal,
Safirati
political,
dated
and constitutional mechanism.
4/10/26.
The observations
Ibig
and comments
sabihin,
of the respondents, counsel.
Kailangang
are duly noted.
naayon sa batas at
Witness may
konstitusyon
answer.
ang anumang proseso nito. According to the
Please
Constitution,
peruse the document
it
and
is
answer
the
the question,
Senate
please.
that shall have the sole power to try
This is the
and
copy
decide
of the
all cases of
printouts that
impeachment.
was
This
submitted to the
power
Committee
is
on
not
Justice, sir.
shared.
Thank you so much. How faithful,
The
if at all, is this
Constitution
printout
gives
from the
no
actual
other
screenshot you
body,
mentioned?
department,
The printout
tribunal,
accurately
agency,
reflects
or
the
a
screenshot,
mere
sir.
committee
And how
of
do you
any
know
of these
that the
institutions
printout
the power
accurately
to
reflects
try
the screenshots?
an impeachment case.
I have
The House
compared the
clearly
screenshot with the
initiates,
printouts
the
and the
Senate
webpage
tries. Yet,
and found that the contents are
we have
identical.
seen the
Now,
Committee on
let's
Justice
proceed. Mr.
conduct
Witness,
what
sinabi
its
mo rin na yung
chairperson,
former
the lead
Speaker ng
prosecutor
House
in
of
this case,
Representatives nagbigay
described
rin
as a
ng
mini-trial,
statement sa mga
which, as
pagbabanta
you all
ni
had
VP Duterte
witnessed,
sa isang
became
sa video.
a vast
Ano ba yung
fishing
maging pruweba
expedition
mo sa
of
naging
alleged
pahayag
evidence that
ng
were
former
not
Speaker ng
even
House of
part of the
Representatives?
impeachment complaints under its
I have a video
consideration,
of
and
the
which the
statement of the
respondent
former
accused
Speaker of
was
the House
made to answer.
of Representative
In that
during the
mini-trial, we saw how
plenary
the
session on November
purported
25,
pieces of evidence
2024,
were
which was
curated to
published by
construct
ANC
a
Digital.
At
narrative
sinabi
against
mo
the
na
Vice
authenticate mo
President
yung video
even
na yun.
before this
Ano ba yung
case
naging
reaches
pruweba mo
trial.
na ikaw ay
The
nag-authenticate
articles
sa
of
video na
impeachment
yan?
presented before
It's
this
part
court
of
as
the
an exercise
affidavit
of the House's
authentication of
power to
digital
initiate
evidence dated January
impeachment
30,
cases are therefore,
2025,
in
which I
sober
identified
truth,
earlier, sir.
the
Now, ano ba
product
yung
of an
ginawa mo kung meron man
impermissible
after you
inclusion of
authenticated
clear
yung video ng
constitutional
former
values.
Speaker of the House of Representatives?
Over the course of the impeachment
I
trial,
save a copy
the
of the video
prosecution
on my
will
laptop
attempt to
and a
convince
copy
this
of the
court
video
and
on
the
a
court of
DVD
public
and a flash
opinion
drive.
Now,
that the
sinabi mo,
allegations
sinave mo
in
sa
the
isang
articles
flash
of
drive. Kung yung
impeachment are
flash drive na
supported
yan,
by
ipapakita
materials
sa iyo,
they obtained during the
ma-identify ba
mini-trial,
mo ba
and that
yung flash drive
evidence
na yan?
exists to
Yes,
sustain
sir.
a
Your
judgment
Honor,
of
in the
conviction.
process of
They will claim that the
presenting to the
notices of
witness
suspension and
yung isang
disallowance
flash
issued by
drive
the
that has
COA
been
and
previously
the COA
marked as
decision
Exhibit
denying
P,
the Vice
dash Roman
President's
numeral
appeal of that
4-15,
disallowance support their
subparagraph A,
accusations,
which
with
contains
the
the
release
recording
of
of
that
the former
decision by
Speaker's
the COA
speech,
conveniently
previously marked as
timed
Exhibit P,
and
dash
coinciding
Roman
with the
numeral
committee hearings.
4-15.
They will claim that the
Permission to answer
certifications
the
of the
flash drive, sir.
PSA
Witness
confirm
may
their
proceed.
allegation
Your Honor.
that recipients of the confidential funds do
Manifestation,
not
the witness
exist,
is in the
even
process
though they
of
listed
checking that
one
flash
Mary
drive.
Grace Piatos in their pre-trial brief as among their witnesses, or that the liquidation of the confidential funds in a span of 11 days was allegedly swift as to invite suspicion. The prosecution will assert that the supposed NBI findings of similar signatures across a number of acknowledgement receipts submitted to the COA are supportive of their conclusion that the disbursements of the confidential funds were irregular. What the prosecution avoided informing the public so far are
This
these:
is the flash drive where I saved
that
the
it
recording,
was the
sir.
then Secretary
Mr.
of the
Witness.
Department of Budget and Management,
Question.
Amena Pangandaman, who issued a memorandum for the President through
In what
Executive
particular
Secretary
portion
Lucas Bersamin on
of
October
that
18,
video
2022,
Did the
recommending
former
the
Speaker
approval
of the
of the Office
House
of the Vice President's
give
request
his response
for
to the threats of the
confidential
Vice
funds,
President?
that the Office of the President
refer back
did
to
in
my
fact
notes?
approve that recommendation of the DBM through a memorandum from the Executive Secretary dated November
Your Honor?
28, 2022, and signed by the former Executive
Your Honor, please.
Secretary Lucas Bersamin by order
There
of
is
the
a
President.
request by
that
the
on
witness
December
that he be
13,
allowed
2022,
to refer
the
to his
DBM
notes.
issued a special
Yes, the
allotment
witness may
order
refer
number
to his
Sara-BMP
notes to refresh his memory. What is the pleasure of Senator Judge Erwin Tulfo.
2004, signed by
Mr.
former
Presiding presiding
Secretary
officer,
Amena
just a
Pangandaman
clarificatory
to cover
question.
the request of financial
The
assistance,
witness,
subsidy, and
the witness
confidential
here,
funds of
for the
OVP
record, mentioned that he was referring to notes.
notwithstanding
Kanina pa po
the
ito.
impending end of
Could
the
he
fiscal
please
year,
clarify what
the
specific
confidential
notes he
funds
was
were
referring
nonetheless
to?
released to
Who
the
prepared those
OVP
notes?
on December
When were they
20,
prepared?
2022 under this
And were they
documented
made
approval
before,
process.
during, or after the
That
events
the
he had
COA
testified
decision is
about?
far from being final.
And also,
that there is
these
a pending
notes,
motion for the consideration of that decision. That,
Nabigyan po
assuming
ba
arguendo,
ang defense
the
ng
COA
Capitol?
denies
Was this
that MR
submitted as
today,
part of the
or
evidence
while this
also,
trial is
Mr.
ongoing, as could plausibly
Presiding
happen
Officer?
under the
Additionally,
circumstances,
the question is,
the
was he
respondent
relying on
still has
these notes to
legal
refresh his
remedies available
recollection
under the law
while
and
giving
rules,
his testimony
and can
today?
file a
So,
petition to question the
Witness will
validity
please
of
answer
any
the question of
forthcoming
Senator
resolution
Judge
of the
Zimmerman
COA
Tulfo.
on the MR
This
under
is my
Rule 64
investigator's notes, which I made
via
during
petition
the
for
time of
certiorari
investigation,
under
sir.
Rule 65 of the Rules
my
of Court.
next question
And more
would be, was this also
importantly,
presented?
that
Since
nothing
notes niyo po ito,
in the notice of
pinagbabasihan niyo po
disallowance
yung
or
mga
COA
testimonya
decision
niyo rito.
states any
Sinabit
findings of
niyo rin po ba
supposed
ito as
misuse
an
of
evidence
confidential funds as confirmed by
marirefer din po ang
Attorney
defense?
Gloria Camora
Mr.
when
Witness?
she was
Yung
asked
content
on
po
this
ng
point
affidavit,
during the
nung notes
committee
ko is
hearing
nandun na po
on
sa
April
affidavit of
14,
investigation, sir.
2026.
Yung copy
Across
exactly
all
ng
other
notes.
articles,
No,
the prosecution
no, sir.
will lay a
Hindi nyo
landscape of
naibigay.
what it deems
That's
to
all,
be
Your Honor.
their evidence
Thank
in
you,
support of
Senator
their
Judge
speculations
Zimmerman
and
Can I make
Counsel
a-
for the prosecution.
We are
Make a
not
manifestation,
strangers
Your
to
Honor,
all
please,
these
that the
accusations
witness
precisely
referred to his
because
notes when answering
this
specific
was not the
questions
first
as
time
to
these
actual
narratives were
statements made by the
foisted
Vice
into
President
the
and the
minds of
others,
the
number
general
one. And number
public.
two, in
We
referring
have
to the
heard
actual
the same tales and
timestamps of the
stories
video
of
for
these
these
accusations
specific
since
reasons the witness
2024,
was
when
referring
the
to
House
his notes as
conducted
to
its Quadcom
his answers
hearings
for the
and
other
most recently
substantial
the mini
questions.
trial
He
of
was
its
not referring to
committee on
his notes, Your
justice.
Honor,
But
please.
Your Honor,
what
we move to
must not
strike the
forget
manifestation.
amid all
He's already
these
testifying on behalf of the
accusations
witness.
is the
Your Honor, we
fundamental
cannot
legal
move to
principle
strike a
that
manifestation of
burden
counsel.
of
The good
proof
counsel could do
never
his own
shifts.
manifestation. That's not in the
burden of
rules.
proof
I would
never
like the Honorable
shifts.
Court to rule, Your Honor.
He who
Motion
accuses
motion is
must prove
denied.
his
Let it
allegations
stay and
with
be
evidence
and remain in the
that
records in
meets not
response
only
to
the degree
query
of proof
of,
required, but also meets the
Senator,
evidentiary
Judge
standards
Tulfo.
of
Senator
admissibility,
Judge Risa Taveras is
credibility,
recognized. I believe she was
relevance,
raising her hand earlier.
materiality, and
What is your pleasure, ma'am?
competence. We therefore should not lose sight
Salamat po, Mr.
of the
Presiding
core
Officer.
principle
Tig
that the burden of
isang
proof is
tanong
on the
lamang po para sa
prosecution.
witness at para
And
sa
unless it
prosecution.
The lady may
discharges
proceed. She has 2
that
minutes.
burden,
Salamat,
the accused
Mr.
need not
Presiding
even
Officer.
offer
Mr.
evidence on her
Kalilong,
behalf, and she will be
nung sinabi
entitled
nyo
to
na
an
nag-conduct kayo ng
This is
open
the law now.
source intelligence,
This is the law
pagkatapos nyo
now.
ma-authenticate yung
And the
November
underlying principle for this
23,
burden of proof is
2024
simple.
video. At
Under our
nahanap nyo yung video
Constitution,
naman ng press
every
conference
accused is
dated
presumed
October
innocent until
18,
proven
2024.
An accused
Ang
has in her
basis nyo
favor
para
the presumption
sabihin
of
na yung mga
innocence which
statements
the
sa
Bill of Rights
October 18 press
guarantees.
conference
This also brings to
ay
fore the reality
halintulad
that, in the
sa
words
November
of the Supreme Court
23 video
People
na may
versus Pagay,
assassination threat.
the
In other
individual
words po,
citizen is
ano
but
pong
the
napansin
speck
yung
of particular
magkakapareho
molecule
dun
vis-a-vis
sa
the vast
statements nung
and
October 18
overwhelming
at
powers
nung
of government.
November 23?
And his
O,
only guarantee against
what do they have in
oppression and
common?
tyranny are his fundamental liberties
Both
under the Bill of
were
Rights,
ang
which shield
tinutukoy
him
po,
in
pinupunto po
times
is yung
of need.
president.
Sa madaling
And
salita,
makikita po doon na hindi na
kinikilala
sila
ng
in good
ating
terms
salitang
noong October
batas
18 pa lang po.
na sa bawat paglilitis, ang isang
Okay, so
individual
sa
ay
parehong,
nahaharap sa
video ng
malalim
press conference
at
at
napakalaking
saka yung
makinarya
November
ng buong
video
estado.
naman, yung
At
dalawang
ang tanging
elementong yun
sandigan
na
lamang
hindi na
niya
sila
laban sa anumang pang-aabuso ng kapangyarihan
sundo
ay ang kanyang mga
At
batayang karapatan sa
Hindi na
ilalim
sila
ng ating
magkasundo.
konstitusyon.
Ang ina-address
Kaya't
po ng
mahalagang
ang
linawin
parang pinapatukuyan
na sa
po
gitna
ng Vice President
pagtatangkang
doon sa press
ikondisyon
conference
ang
is yung
kaisipan
President.
ng mamamayang
Okay.
Pilipino at sa
And
gitna
then,
ng walang
Mr.
humpay na
Presiding
komentaryo
Officer,
sa mga
salamat kay
publikong
Mr.
espasyo,
Kalilong.
wala
Sa
pang
prosecution
maituturing
naman
na
po
anumang
yung
ebidensya o
isang tanong ko
alegasyon
at this point
na
in time, Mr.
napapatunayan ng
Presiding Officer.
prosekusyon
Well,
sa simpleng dahilan na ang bawat
Counsel,
ebidensya ay kailangan
none of these
dumaan
statements
muna
are proof
sa paglilitis
that the
at
Vice President
pagsusuri
actually
ng korteng may
contracted an
tanging
assassin
kapangyarihan
or
sa
hired
ilalim
one.
ng ating salitang
Why are these
batas.
acts
Higit sa
impeachable?
lahat,
Yes.
ang anumang paglilitis responsibilities
There
ay
is an
kailangang
answer to the
naayon sa
question, Your Honor,
itinatakda
please.
ng
The
ating batas at
prosecution is in the
konstitusyon
process of
at hindi
establishing
lamang sa
that the Vice
kagustuhan ng
President should
ilang
be
may
impeached
hawak ng
and he was
kapangyarihan.
impeached
One
and be
might
removed from
ask,
office.
Why
for
is it important that
contracting
we
an
must not
assassin to
forget
kill
these
the
basic
president, Your Honor,
principles?
please? Inasmuch
The ruling
as
of the
we
Supreme Court
understand
tells us why.
that these statements
The
may
Bill of
not
Rights applies
actually
to the entire
100%
impeachment
prove
process.
that she in
because
fact contracted
inasmuch as our court
an assassin
recognizes that
to kill the
impeachment
president,
is a
Your Honor,
political
please. We are
process,
invoking, Your Honor,
it
please,
reminds us
a
that
rule
it is
in the
not
rules on
a
evidence
purely political process,
that there
but a
could be
legal and constitutional
statements
mechanism. Thus,
utterances
if we are to uphold the rule of law,
of a person
serve justice,
that
and
may
invoke the
not be
accountability
directly
mechanism,
similar
then this
to
court
what
and
he or she
we as a
did,
people must
but
guarantee
it
that
could
all
establish,
efforts
Your
to
Honor,
hold
please,
our
what we
leaders
call
accountable
a
must
specific
be
intent,
done right. This
knowledge,
we must not
identity,
forget.
plan,
I thank the
system,
court and the
and the like.
public
Ibig
for the
sabihin po,
privilege of your time.
pinapakita
May God
ng
bless our
prosecution na yung mga
Opening
nasabi
statement of
ng
the
Vice
counsel for
President
respondent,
sa gabing iyon,
duly
November
noted
22,
and entered into the
2024,
records.
hindi po yan
The
nag-iisang
court will now
statement ng
proceed
Vice
to
President. Kung hindi,
dispose
yun po
of
yung
some of the
culmination
incidents that were brought up
sa
during
mga
the
series of
pre-trial
statements ng Vice
conference,
President
as
kung
well
saan
as
sinasabi
other
niya
pending matters
talagang
and motions.
gusto niyang patayin
First,
yung
on
presidente,
the sequence of the presentation
yung
of
First
the
Lady,
articles
tsaka
of
yung former
impeachment.
Speaker of the House. Your Honor,
The
please.
pre-trial order
We
stated that the
invoke
prosecution
Rule
is a
130,
free
Your
hand
Honor,
to
please,
determine
Section 35
the
of the Rules
sequence
of
of the
Court.
presentation of the
Etong
articles
mga
of
statements
impeachment.
na to,
However,
they prove
respondent
one
will be
thing.
similarly accorded the same right
Talagang may
insofar
plano
as
na,
the presentation of their
talagang
evidence and witnesses
may system
in
na,
chief is
talagang
concerned.
may
Let me now
knowledge na
learn
yung
from the
Vice
public-
President
from
sa
the,
anong gusto
panel of
niyang gawin
prosecutors, rather,
sa Pangulo.
what will be
Gusto
the
niyang
sequence of
pugutan ng ulo,
presentation of the articles
gusto
of
niyang
impeachment
patayin
that they intend
no
to
less
pursue?
than the President of the Republic of the
Attorney
Philippines.
Jokno
Your Honor, please.
is recognized.
At
You may
anong,
proceed, sir.
ang
Thank
tanong
you, Your
po
Honor.
ba dito
The
ay
first,
kung may krimen
article
o
we
kung
will be
may
presenting will be Article 4
kung ang asal
on grave
ay
threats.
karapat-dapat sa
Second
Vice
will be
Presidente.
confidential funds,
We are able
Article
to answer
1.
two questions, Your Honor,
Third,
please.
bribery.
The
That is,
charges against
Article
the Vice
3.
President
And
ay
the
yung
fourth is
pagbibitray ng
unexplained
public
wealth, Your
trust,
Honor.
Your Honor, please.
That's
That
Article
is
4.
also, Your Honor, please, a culpable violation of the Constitution. Now, yung usaping,
I'm sorry, Article
was
2.
that a criminal
I stand
act?
corrected.
So the
Yes.
sequence of presentation shall be
Kaya nga,
Article
yung
4, Article
NBI,
1,
through this
Article
witness,
3,
will
and
prove
then
na
Article
nag-file
2.
na.
Yes,
Nag-file na
that is correct, Your Honor.
ng kaso
So I
yung
presume
NBI
that beginning
against the Vice President.
tomorrow,
exactly sa mga
once we
naging
issue the subpoena for your
pagbabanta
first
niya.
set of witnesses,
But you know, Your Honor,
you shall
I'm a
begin with
lawyer.
Article 4.
but I'm
Yes,
willing
Again,
to take
share
off
rules that the respondents have the same
yung role
and
ko
equal
as a
privilege
lawyer
of
and
presenting
answer
its
the
case
question directly.
as it so desires
kababayan,
when it's time to present its evidence in chief shall come.
Kailan
What is
pa
the pleasure of the counsel for
naging normal?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your
May I
Honor,
ask
this is
if the
no longer
prosecution
answering
should
the question.
I'm answering a question.
We
about
object,
the
Your
question
Honor.
that was asked.
The chair will
We
we will get to that
ruling
later.
in a while. Kindly let the gentleman finish because it's a senator.
next
Your Honor,
item in the
please.
agenda.
Question
If Your Honor,
of the
please.
party.
Yes,
I
Representative
have just
Jokno.
noticed that Your Honor had already
Kailan ba
directed
nangyari
the
sa
counsel for the
kasaysayan
defense
ng
not to
Republika
propound
ng Pilipinas
questions to the prosecution. This is already
na
the
yung
second time that
pangalawang
she's doing
Pangulo
that.
ng
She
ating
appears to
bansa
be assuming or
nagbanta,
arrogating the powers of the court.
sinabi sa
But as I
publiko
understand the rules, it's only the court
na nakipagkontrata
that can
na siya
propound questions to the counsels.
sa isang mamamatay tao
The lady may comment.
I
Counsel
take
for
upang
exception.
patayin
Yes, Your Honor. I
ang
take exception
Pangulo,
to that manifestation of the good counsel. In fact, the record
ang
would
First
show that
Lady,
if
yung
we can
asawa niya.
run the transcript
Your Honor,
back,
please, I think
my question was
Attorney
addressed
Season
to the
is making
presiding
a scene.
officer, Your Honor.
Kindly wind
Let
up.
us go
Kindly wind up,
forward.
counsel.
Your Honor, please,
Gentleman and lady.
manifestation that
Next
Attorney
item
Season
for us to
gave a
dispense with, the
statement
witness
addressed to this
disclosure rule.
representation and she walked out.
The
She's now coming back.
prosecution proposed a 3-day
Mr.
witness
Presiding
Counsel,
Officer, I'd like to
kindly wind up and we will address that matter in a bit.
Okay. Now, Your
But they
Honor, please.
understand the prosecution is
Yung
amenable to the
pagbabalita
5-day witness disclosure rule. Would that be
Yes,
correct?
Your Honor,
Vice
we are
Presidente
amenable to the 5-day disclosure.
sa buhay ng
Share
Pangulo
therefore
ng
rules
Republika
that
ng
insofar as
Pilipinas,
disclosure to both to either
hindi
party
po
of a
yan
witness to be
normal.
presented
Iyan
not
po
mentioned
ay unang
in the
pagkakataon na
pre-trial
nangyari yan
order and or briefs of the parties
nakipagkontrata
shall be for 5
sa isang
days.
mamamatay tao,
This is
Your Honor, please,
subject
to do
also
that.
to the chair's reminder
Even without
that
going
at the
into the
end
question,
of
is that a
every
criminal
week,
act, Your Honor,
that would
please?
be a Wednesday while
That
we are on
act,
recess.
110%
We will ask the
sure,
party presenting their
betrayed
case in chief
the public
to
trust
enumerate
that the
witnesses
Vice
they intend
President
to present
got
for the following
in the previous
week.
elections.
Thank you.
Your
Thank you,
Honor.
Counsel, for
Responsible
Salamat,
motion
Counsel.
for the
Salamat,
request
Mr.
of
Calino.
subject
Salamat,
to be
Mr.
submitted
Presiding
Chair would
the
like
day
to,
before or on Tuesday.
remind
so that we
my
can act on it
colleagues,
before the last day of the week.
the question
so
posed
that
by
the
Senator
subpoena
Judge
can be
Risa
properly issued
pertains
in
to
due
the
course
final
and in
question
due
of this
time.
entire impeachment
ordered.
proceedings already. If
On
that
the
is an
examination
impeachable act
of a
or
witness
not.
by more than one
And
counsel,
since we
as
gave
propounded or
the
proposed
counsel
by
for the
prosecution,
prosecutors, I think about 5 minutes,
the rules of
Chair
the
would
Senate
now
are
like to
clear.
be fair and
Article
hear the
15
counsel for
of
the
rules on
respondent
impeachment states
to
witnesses shall be examined by
discuss
one person on
why it
behalf
is
of the
not,
party producing them, and then
an
cross-examined
impeachable,
by one
offense.
person
Your Honor,
on
may
the
be
other
allowed. I allowed
side.
to do so after our cross.
Court therefore
after
rules
your
I would like
that
the
as a rule,
as I
only
understand
one
it,
person
the-
shall present a witness.
I would
However,
like the honorable
in the
court to
exigency
play
of
back
the
what
delivery
the
and the
prosecutor
administration
said.
of
'Cause it's very
justice,
interesting.
and under
So
certain
may I be
exceptions,
indulged to
the court may allow more than
to
one
give my
counsel
answer after
to
my
examine
cross-examination.
and or propound questions to a
the
witness.
chair will allow it.
To cite
you.
an example,
But
just
you
for the
would
sake
have
of
the
the record.
similar and same amount
If,
of
for
time
example,
given to
the panel of
counsel for
prosecutor
the
disagrees
prosecutors,
with how
again,
the
to
the
answer
counsel
the
for
reverse
prosecutor
of the
examines
question,
case.
because statements
The
were
panel
made
of
by the counsel
prosecutors
for
or one of
prosecute
them
the
can take
prosecutor their
over,
conclusions
and
of
that is
fact and
but
law
proper
already,
and
which
should be
should
allowed
be taken
and
upon
will therefore be
advisement by
considered
the
as an
impeachment
exemption
court,
to that
because
rule.
these were not
And other
evidence,
similar
but rather
exigencies
conclusions
will
in
be
fact and law
allowed
by
in
the
order
counsel
to
for
afford
prosecutors.
the
Senator Judge
orderly
Pia Cayetano is
administration of
recognized.
justice
Ma'am, you
and
may
of
proceed.
these
What's your
proceedings.
pleasure?
Thank you,
So
Mr.
ordered.
President. No, I would just
Insofar
like
as the
to
BIR
manifest
box
my
is
support
concerned.
for the
What is the
statement
press
and
pleasure?
observation of the presiding officer.
Insofar
That is like a
insofar as
closing
the
statement, Mr.
BIR
President.
box is concerned,
So, I don't think this is fair because, some
this
parts are
box
exciting,
was
some
turned
parts are
over
dragging.
to the Senate as
We're
part
trying
of
our
the
best to
documents,
be
including
paying
the
attention and
articles
what
of
evidence,
impeachment.
we
However,
have to ferret the evidence
the
before
court
us, what
is not yet
admissible,
in
what is not.
custodia
The
leis
official
of this
objections will
box,
come
given that
later.
there is no
But when we allow
lawful
this to
order issued by
happen,
the court for this
nasa-shortcut
box
na
to be
natin yung
turned over
process.
to the
So,
Senate. More so that it is not yet offered
If I
in
may, with
evidence,
all due
not
respect,
even as of yet
Mr.
marked.
President, admonish us.
The chair therefore
Call us
orders
out
that
if
the
yung question
BIR
natin
box
is
closed,
also not,
sealed, and as it is
not
received,
proper at the proper time.
be sent back to the
We may all
BIR
make
or the
those
Bureau of
mistakes.
Internal
Even I may
Revenue
make that mistake. And I'm
without
telling you,
prejudice
please
to
call
any
me out
action
if
that
I
the
make
court
a
may
mistake
take
and ask the kind of
if a
question that
motion
should
will
not
be filed by
properly be asked
either
by a
party
judge
for the issuance of a
at that
subpoena,
particular time.
and we shall await action, if any, by
Because
the
it is
BIR
not
Commissioner
right.
should that
we
time
must follow
come.
the rules, and I know you
So
are
ordered.
being courteous to all of us.
Now, insofar
but
as the subpoena
was a
requested
closing
by the
statement.
prosecution for the two
And I
NBI
also asked
agents,
the
may I
parties
request the
involved.
clerk of court to kindly read the motion for the
You have
issuance of
you have an oath
subpoena
as
ad
lawyers.
testificandum.
Don't take advantage of the generosity of this impeachment court. I don't want to see this happen again. Thank you, Mr.
The
President.
prosecution,
Duly
to the
noted
undersigned
and well
public
taken,
prosecutors,
Chair. As I
respectfully
said,
request
the
the
chair,
issuance of
presiding officer
subpoenas
said
ad
earlier,
testificandum.
reminded
Directing the following
our
witnesses to
colleagues with
appear and
respect to,
testify before the Honorable Impeachment Court on
similar
July 6,
questions to
July
be asked in
7,
the
and July
future.
8, 2026 at 2
Your Honor,
p.m.
may-
as their
May I-
testimonies
I
are
would like to make a
material,
ruling
relevant, and necessary to establish the allegations under
the
Article
counsel
4
for the
of the Articles of
respondent will be
Impeachment,
given, I think
as
that
well
was
as matters
approximately
necessarily
8
incidental
minutes
thereto,
or 10
and for
minutes, we will get
purposes
the
of the
exact time
identification and
to
authentication of other
answer,
evidence before the
after
impeachment
the
court. Number
cross-examination
1.
of this witness, so
Attorney
that
Jeremy
we would
C.
be
Lotok,
fair
Regional
in
Director,
listening
National
and
Bureau of
hearing
Investigation.
the views of both
Number
parties
2,
in regard
John Mark
to the
Calilum,
query
Senior Agent,
raised,
National Bureau of
earlier.
Investigation.
Senator Judge
Respectfully submitted,
Cayetano.
Quezon
Yeah, sorry,
City for
Mr.
Pasay
President,
City,
I-
July 1,
I
2026.
don't need to interrupt now. I want to give the
We
defense
are
the
not
time.
in receipt of any
I respectfully
reservation or
move
objection on the
that the
part of
statement
the
of
respondent,
the,
counsel for
prosecution
respondent
be
rather. However,
taken off the
Chair would
record.
like to ask
It is not
the
proper for those
prosecutors,
statements to have been made. Thank you.
do you only request for a subpoena ad testificandum or a
Your
subpoena
if I may, Your Honor,
tecum
please.
as well?
If I
With the
Your Honor,
understand
we-
the record, Your Honor,
Senator
we joined the
Pia
motion of
Cayetano.
both
the
for
Senator
ad
Judge.
testificandum and
May
duces
we
tecum.
table her motion,
The motion
and act
filed
on
by
it
the
at a
prosecutors
later
is
time
only
with
for a
respect to
subpoena
striking
ad
it,
testificandum.
so that
That's
we
what
can
the chair
discuss
just clarify.
Your Honor, for
Thank you for
the
your generosity,
Your Honor.
Senator.
Your Honor, if I may,
stand
for the
corrected
Yes,
if you're right.
record,
Counsel for
we
the
joined the
respondent.
motion of the
Scandal.
honorable senator.
Counsel for
I'm sorry?
respondent?
We
If I
joined the
may,
motion of the
Your Honor,
honorable senator.
Just to set the
Please,
record
no need,
straight,
counsel.
the presiding officer
That
earlier
motion will be
inquired,
taken up with the proper
or,
time by this court.
mentioned,
record lang, Your
the court is not
Noted
in
for the
receipt of
record,
any objection from the respondent,
Senator
but
Judge,
just to set the record straight, straight.
Erwin Tulfo first,
the,
and then Senator Judge
respondent
Risa
has not
Ontiveros once again.
received any copy of the request for subpoena being
I
mentioned
think to
today,
resolve this issue, Mr. Presiding Officer, Mr. President,
what
a
we
quick
received, Your
manifestation.
Honor, was a manifestation
Can we
containing the list
request
of
the council
the witnesses
that
of
be
the
directed whenever
prosecution for
available
July 6,
to
7, and 8,
furnish
Your
members of
Honor.
this
And
impeachment
so it
court
would
with
be
sworn
impossible
statement,
for
testimony,
the
or
defense
affidavit
or the
of
respondent
witnesses or
to
witness
object or
they
to
intend to
even
present in the
comment on a
proceedings
request that,
or
we were
succeeding
not
proceedings
served with
before
any
such
copy with.
witness is
two
called to
witnesses,
testify, and this goes to the
against whom a
defense
subpoena has been requested
panel
by the
too.
prosecution were
While the
mentioned
judicial affidavit
in
rule
the
does not
pretrial
strictly
brief of the
apply
prosecution and,
to
was
impeachment
not
proceedings,
commented
its
on
underlying
by the
objectives
respondents in their
of
pretrial brief. But
promoting
if you do have any objections
orderly
now, the
and
court would
efficient
be more than
presentation of
glad, or
evidence
reservations,
may
the
be
court would be more
instructed.
than glad to hear it
Advance
before ruling
access
on
to
the
the
motion for
witness's
the
sworn
issuance of a
statement
subpoena.
would
That's fine.
assist
At this
the
point, Your Honor,
senator
that's fine.
judges
We'll just
in
place
following the
on
testimony
record our
and
objections
preparing
as the
clarificatory
testimonial evidence is
questions.
presented.
Sa madaling
Duly
sabi
noted.
po,
Chair hereby
hinihiling
orders
lang
that
po natin na
the
kung mayroon ng
subpoena ad
nakahandang sinumpang
testificandum and
salaysay
duces tecum
ng susunod na
be
testigo,
issued
magbigay
to the
na sana
aforementioned
ng mga
two
kopya nito sa aming mga
NBI
senator
agents
judges
contained in the
bago pa po ang pagdinig
motion
upang
filed by,
magsilbing
the counsel
gabay
for the
sa pagtatanong
prosecutors.
at pagtatalakay.
Although by nature,
Maiwasan po
subpoena is
natin
ex parte,
ang mga
we
sitwasyon na
would
ito.
instruct,
Thank you,
Chair
Mr.
would
Presiding
instruct the
Officer.
clerk of court to kindly
To
upload
reply, Senator
all of
Judge
the filings
Erwin,
of all of the parties to the website.
The court
for
did not
information not only of
adopt
the senator
the judicial
judges,
affidavit
but also
rule for the simple
of the
reason
parties
that
and
we
their
wanted
counsels.
all of the
The
testimonies
chair
to be made
earlier,
and given in open court.
Counsel for
So
respondent
that it
said
will be heard
that
not only by the
witnesses
senator
for the
judges,
succeeding
but
week
also by the
shall be
public as a
manifested in
whole.
open court on the
Given
last
that
day of the
this is
trial,
an
in this case by
impeachment
Wednesday,
court,
insofar as the
impeachment
next
trial that
week's
seeks to
next week's
unseat
trial
a duly
is concerned.
elected official.
Ordered.
However, the court
Now,
shall
insofar
endeavor
as
through
the
clerk of
request
court
for
to give
subpoena
the
for
senator
bank
judges
records and
a copy
AMLC
of the
records, Chair
annexes
recognizes the clerk of
attached,
court
if they have not
to
yet
kindly
done so,
read and spread into the records
the
request for the issuance of
and the
subpoena.
pretrial briefs
Both,
pre-marked by
I
the
believe, ad
parties
testificandum
because
and
it would
duces tecum,
encompass already
or just duces
approximately
tecum, for the aforementioned
80% of the documents
The clerk of
that
court
will
may
be
proceed.
presented by both
Request for
parties.
issuance of
Save, of
subpoena
course,
duces
for,
tecum. The
documents
prosecution
that they have not yet
respectfully
been able to
request
produce
the
and are
issuance
yet
of a subpoena
to,
duces tecum
produce. But,
to the branch
the clerk of
manager
court
of
is
the following
instructed
banks:
to endeavor
BPI
to do so
Julia
with
Vargas
respect
Branch,
to the senator
BPI
judges so
Green
that they
Hills
can catch
EDSA
up
Branch, Philippine
with what is
Savings
going
Bank
on in the
Wilson
proceedings.
Branch, BDO Unibank Inc.
Yes,
Davao CM
counsel
Recto
for the
Branch,
prosecution, you may proceed.
Metrobank Davao
Thank you so
Ecoland
much,
Branch, BDO
apologies, Senator
Unibank
Judge,
Davao Rizal
Risa
Branch,
Ontiveros.
Security Bank Bikutan
Is
Branch,
recognized.
Land
What
Bank
is your
San
pleasure,
Pedro
ma'am?
Branch,
Salamat po, Mr.
Philippine
Presiding
Savings Bank
Officer.
Davao
Just a point of
MADR Branch.
clarity. Briefly, if I may, Mr. Presiding
You may proceed,
Officer.
ma'am.
Salamat po, Mr. Presiding Officer. And of course, I will submit to any ruling
Requiring
or
him or her or his or her authorized
statement of the
representative to
presiding
submit to the
officer
clerk of
to
the
this
impeachment
senator
court.
judge. But
On
for
or before
clarity,
24
Mr.
June
Presiding Officer,
2026 at
my
9
question
a.m.
po
The
had to do
certified
with
true
how the
copies of all
evidence is
records,
material
documents,
to the
books,
allegations in
papers,
the articles of
electronic
impeachment.
data,
Kasi nga po,
communications, and
hindi naman
information
napapatunayan
in the possession,
na the Vice
custody,
President
or control of the
actually
bank
sought an
relating
assassin.
to any account,
I wanted to appreciate
deposit,
the evidence
investment,
before
trust,
me
loan,
in
safety
light of the
deposit,
articles
or other
of
financial
impeachment.
transactions.
If you wish to strike out the
Maintained,
response of
open,
the prosecutor,
closed, controlled,
then so be
beneficially owned,
it, Mr.
or
Presiding
jointly
Officer.
held by
But
Sara
for
Z.
clarity
Duterte
again,
and
my
or
intention was
Manasseh
not
R.
to provoke
Carpio,
a closing statement.
whether individually,
Salamat po, Mr.
jointly
Presiding
with each
Officer.
other,
Review the transcript
jointly with
again.
any other
Sorry,
person,
we
or
have
through
some-
any
apologies
authorized
on the part of the presiding
representative,
officer. We have
nominee,
a bit of a problem
attorney in
with
fact,
respect
or
to getting
signatory
an updated,
for the period January
copy of
1,
the TSM.
2007
But
to
given the
December 31,
clarification of Senator
2025,
Judge Risa,
including but not limited to,
on the
number
matter,
1,
then for the
records
consideration
identifying
of the
account
body, given
numbers,
that we
account
tabled the
types,
motion of
know your
Senator Pia,
customer documents
that,
such as
the
but not
response
limited
of
to
counsel
customer
for the
information
prosecution is not
forms
responsive
and signature cards.
to the
Number 2,
question of Senator
monthly
Judge,
bank statements,
Ontiveros.
average daily balances for
clearly
per
the question
calendar
he
year,
answered was whether or
year-end
not,
balances from January 1,
constituted an impeachable
2007
offense.
to December
But without
31,
further debate, we are
2025.
tabling this,
Number
and
3,
we'll discuss
all
and decide
account and
upon this
transaction
at a
records,
later,
ledgers,
date.
and journals
So
and
ordered,
similar instruments
from
January 1, 2007 to December 31, 2021
2025. And number 4,
Now,
all other
sinabi
relevant
mo
bank
na yung
documents.
former Speaker of the
Request for
House ay
subpoena due
nagbigay ng
stecum
kanyang tugon
to the
sa
Anti-Money
managing
Laundering
pagbabanta
Council,
ng Vice President.
to Honorable
Saka sinabi mo rin
Eli M. Remolona
na
Jr.,
may
Chairman,
isang video
AMLC, to
recording na
Attorney
inauthenticate
Ronel U.
mo. Yung tanong
Benaventura,
is,
Executive Director,
Your Honor, please,
AMLC.
I'm reminded
Requiring
he's
him
supposed
or
to
her
answer
or his or
the
her
specific
authorized representative to
timestamp
submit to the clerk of the
of
impeachment
that
court on or before
recording
24 June
of the former
2026
Speaker
at
of the
9 a.m.
House's speech. Your Honor,
Original
please.
or certified true copies of
I
the
move
following.
that the
Number
witness
1.
be allowed to
All
answer
reports
the
of covered
question as to ano yung
transactions and
naging
suspicious
specific
transactions filed by banks and all other financial
ng
institutions and
recording na
covered
yan.
persons
Witness may answer.
required to
May I
submit
refer to my
covered
investigators
transaction
report?
reports
do so if it's
and
so wishes.
suspicious
Thank you, Your Honor.
transaction reports to the AMLC involving Sara Duterte Carpio and or Manasseh R. Carpio covering the period of 2006 to 2025. Number 2.
Timestamp
Any
1
and all
minute, 2
investigation
seconds
reports or
to 2
related reports
minutes
or documents
and
prepared
20
by the
seconds.
AMLC
So that
involving
would
the
be
reported
timestamp
covered
1
transactions
minute,
or
2
suspicious
seconds to,
transactions. And
2
number
minutes.
3, electronic copies, including
20 seconds,
Microsoft Excel
20
files, database
seconds,
extracts,
Your
or
Honor,
machine-readable
please.
formats
I
of
move that
AMLC,
the portion
CTRs,
identified by
and
the witness
STRs
from
for the
timestamps
period
1 minute, 2 seconds
2007
to
to
2 minutes, 20
2025
seconds
involving
be
Sara
played. Your
Duterte
Honor, please.
Carpio and or Manasseh R. Carpio,
Clerk of Court is
respectfully
directed to
submitted,
coordinate
Quezon
with
City for
counsel for the
Pasay City,
prosecution,
June
accompanied
18,
by counsel for the
2026.
respondent to make
Your
sure
Honor,
that the
may I
USB
comment?
identified by the witness
If Your
will
Honor,
be the
please,
same one
before the
that will be
defense
played.
makes a comment, just to obviate the proceedings and to
Senate
facilitate the hearing today,
Officer, I just have
if
a
I
few
may.
questions while we're
First,
Chair has not
waiting for
recognized
the
anyone
video
yet.
to play. This is in line with
May I be
authentication.
recognized, Your Honor?
The gentleman may proceed. Yes, 2 minutes.
At sa ating ginong testigo, narinig ko kanina ilang beses yung open source investigation. Anong
Yes,
ibig
the
sabihin ng
counsel
open source
for
investigation?
prosecutor.
If Your Honor,
Ang
please.
ibig sabihin
the,
po nun is
subpoena request
nag-gather
that
po
was
ko ng
just read by
iba't
the
ibang
clerk of court
information
pertains to a
na
request that
available
the
sa
prosecution
internet
filed
wherein
in early
anyone
June,
can access po yung
which
data
had
na yun.
where we had
And
requested
yung
that the
iba't ibang
documents
information
specified
na
be
yun,
brought to the
how do
Honorable
you,
Court on June 24. Since
how
that
do you
date
prove
has
whether
passed
those
and no issue,
information
no
are
subpoena has been issued,
valid,
we had refiled just this afternoon
authentic,
a subpoena
totoo,
reiterating
in the age
the
of
same
fake
request.
news ngayon, ang dami
And
ng
in
mga
the interest of
information na
justice and to
Yung
allow the defense
pinagkuhanan
to
ko, Your Honor, ng mga
comment, or
information
if
na
they
yun
want
is from the
object
official
to the
websites and
request
official
that we
web
filed
pages
this
po.
afternoon.
To ensure
Perhaps
that
if I may
the,
suggest,
ano po,
if Your Honor,
contents
please,
is
that
accurate.
we
Okay. And
provide
then,
the
my
copy
next
to
question,
the
narinig ko rin
defense,
kanina na
give them
minamanual
period of time
comparison
to
nyo
submit
yung mga
their
videos
opposition or objection,
between, let's
and as
say,
well the same
Facebook
period of time
and,
to the
let's say,
prosecution to reply
yung
before the
video
Honorable Court
recording.
rules on
Can you describe to us anong ibig sabihin ng manual comparison?
Is the motion for
Ibig sabihin po
subpoena
nun, Your
to
Honor,
suspecum
meron
and
akong
or
dalawang
ad
monitor during
testificandum
that
that you
time,
ad
and both
testificandum
videos
that
were
you filed
being
today
played to ensure
exactly
that
the
the
same
contents are
as what
identical
you
po.
filed before?
Mayroon bang...
No, Your Honor.
Ano yan,
It
nakaupo ka
contains
doon,
the same
tinitignan mo yung
documents
dalawa?
that we had
Yes po.
requested
Wala ka
earlier,
bang, let's say,
but there were
software na
some
would
additional
say, ito
documents
ay
that were also mentioned in the
purely
request we filed this
parehas
afternoon.
itong dalawang
So
video.
you ask
Kasi
for
nga, imagine ko, naupo ka
additional
doon, papanoodin mo yung dalawang
documents
video.
Yes, Your Honor.
What does counsel for respondents
How
say?
do we know that
Your Honor,
1:1
before
yung
I
video na kino-compare mo?
give my comment
Based on,
the request for subpoena,
nakikita naman po siya,
I
and based on
thank
the
good
audio, sir,
counsel
na
for offering
sabay po
to
sila.
provide us a copy
Ikaw lang yun
of
ang
the
tumitingin.
Yes po, and it was
request,
checked
for
after po.
subpoena, but we would
Sino
also
nag-check?
ask that we be
Meron po
provided
akong
with the
nagre-review
June
na
2026,
executive officer and the chief
copies
po.
So
of
kayong
the
dalawa ang
request for
nagsasabi
subpoena,
na
as well as the new
itong
one that the council
Facebook
mentioned
video
today.
and
But,
also itong
just for the
video
record,
recording talagang
it would seem
parehas
to
na
me
parehas.
that
The
request
authentication
for
itself na
subpoena
affidavit po, ako
covers
lang po.
documents
Okay.
involving years
meron ba kayong ginagamit
2006,
ng standards
up to 2025
in terms of
and
comparison? Like for example, ito
again,
ay
just for the
ginagamit
record,
ng
this would seem
international
to violate
investigative body.
the Duterte
Ito ay
versus HOR
isang standard
ruling,
na
which very
acceptable
clearly
by
states
international
the
judicial
impeachment
process.
must be
Meron ba kayong
only
ginagamit
for,
na standard
those acts or
acceptable by
omissions
the judiciary
within the
or any
impeachable
courts?
years and
Yung
terms and
procedure ko po
office
nagawa
of
is
the
based
official.
lang po
But
sa
nonetheless, Your Honor,
digital forensic
just so we're able to
procedure
fully
po.
ventilate
We know.
whatever objections
Yun po
or
yung ginagamit sa
comments that we
digital
may have
forensic
on this request,
as a
and
whole.
considering
Yung
that
process po ng
for the day
digital
involving disclosure made by the
procedure, ito
prosecution
ba
will begin with
internationally
Article 4,
accepted
and all
procedure
these
or
documents seem to
locally
pertain
lang?
to Article 2,
It's a procedure
then
that
we will
is
ask for
acceptable internationally
10
in
days
court po.
to file
And then
our
ano ang
comment
meron bang
on these
meron
requests
bang
for
international
subpoena.
accreditation stamp yan
From
or
the day
Chair
organization
hereby
that approves
directs
it?
that all motions for the
I
issuance of subpoena
I have
ad
no personal knowledge, Your
testificandum
Honor, but
subpoena
I have been
dusistecum
following that,
filed by either
procedure.
parties
And
be
accepted by the
furnished
courts.
Yes
to
po.
opposing
Alright, thank
party
you,
and
Mr.
or
President.
counsel
Thank you,
before filing
Mr.
it
Senate
before this
President.
court in order to
Clerk
provide
of Court
full
is directed
disclosure
through the
and
technical staff
fairness.
to kindly play the video.
But instead of 5
The
days,
Vice
counsel,
President of the
Chair is
Republic
giving
of the
both parties
Philippines,
5 days
Sara
to
Duterte,
submit their respective
admitted
memoranda
to contacting
and or
an
position
assassin
insofar
to
as it is
kill
concerned.
President
We will afford the parties
Ferdinand R. Marcos
time
Jr.,
to argue their position
First Lady
before
Luis
the court
Araneta
so
Marcos,
that the
and
Senate
myself.
judges can hear your
Let
position
me
in
be
addition
clear.
to your extended written
Hindi na to biro.
memoranda insofar as this
Hindi na to
crucial
normal
issue
na panalita.
of issuance of a subpoena
Isa itong
duces
direktang
tecum ad
banta sa ating
testificandum
demokrasya,
on
sa ating pamahalaan,
certain bank
at
records
sa seguridad
and
ng bayan.
AMLC records, which the chair will schedule.
Such
Is that okay
statement
with
is
both
not
sides?
just reckless,
Your Honor.
it is dangerous.
Counsel for respondent.
May I
It
ask
sends
if
a
the
chilling
period,
message to
if
our
the period
people.
for the
A
parties to
message
submit or
that
the
violence can
respondent
be
to submit its
contemplated
comment,
by those
her
in
comment
positions of power.
on the request for
This is not just an
subpoena
affront
would be
to the individuals
5 days
targeted.
from today, Your Honor.
It is attack
From today, but you can
on the
submit it
very
on Monday since
foundation of our
it lands on
government.
a Saturday.
It is an
Second,
insult to every
second, Your
Filipino
Honor,
who believes in the rule of law and the
presiding
sanctity
officer
of life.
mentioned that, we
Violence
also must
has no
submit
place
a
in our
memorandum
society.
or position paper on
It is
this, Your Honor.
irreconcilable
If you so desire,
with the
or you
values
simply can
that
argue
have
it in
taught
open
and
court,
guided us for
but
years.
You may want to
Values-
submit an extended written memorandum on the matter for
Thank you
the
so much.
easy reading of the senator
That's the
judges
portion, Your Honor,
pertaining
please.
to this issue.
May we proceed?
Last, Your Honor, will the court also
Thank you so much.
schedule an oral
Thank you so much.
argument on the
Mr.
respective
Witness,
positions
nasabi
of the
mo
parties?
rin
Yes.
na yung
Chair will do that.
AFP,
Thank you, Your
Armed
Honor. And this would
Forces
not
of
be
the
on Monday,
Philippines,
Your Honor.
No,
nag-issue
that
rin
will
ng
not be
kanilang
on-
tugon
Thank you, Your Honor.
sa mga
Your
naging
Honor,
pagbabanta
please.
ng Vice
Yes.
President. Ano ba yung
May I be
pruweba
allowed to
mo
make a
sa naging tugon
counter-manifestation? Just
ng
a brief one with
Armed Forces
respect
of
to
the
the statement
Philippines?
of the
I
Defense
have a
Counsel
screenshot
regarding
of
the
the website
application
of
the case
the
of Duterte
Armed Forces
versus
of the
House of
Philippines.
Representatives.
The gentleman may
statement
proceed
on
briefly.
military professionalism and national
Your Honor,
unity
the decision
by
and the
General
resolution
Romeo
of the
Browner,
Honorable
sir.
the Supreme Court
Sinabi
in
mo
that case
screenshot.
did
Now,
not
sino yung
say
kumuha ng screenshot
that
na yan?
any preterm
I did, sir, and
evidence
I used
is
my laptop.
inadmissible.
Anong ginawa mo sa
There's no
screenshot na yan
statement like
kung
that
meron
at
man?
all in the
I
entire
first saved
decision
an
and the
electronic copy ng
resolution.
screenshot sa laptop
What the
and
Supreme
printed
Court
it.
said, and
Sana
I
yung
quote, was
print
very
out ng
simple.
screenshot na yan.
The basis of any
Sinabit
charge
ko po
must
yung
be
copy
for
sa
impeachable
Committee on
acts or
Justice of House
omissions
of Representatives.
Now, kung
committed
yung
in
print
relation to
out
their
ng
office
screenshot,
and during the current
ipapakita
term
sa'yo,
of the impeachable
ma-identify mo ba yan?
officer. All of
Yes,
the
sir.
articles
Now
in
we are
this
now in the
particular
process of
case
presenting
pertain
to you a
impeachable
printout of a
acts
screenshot
committed by
from the
Vice President
AFP website
during
with the title,
her term
quotes,
as an impeachable
Statements
officer,
on military
including
professionalism and
unexplained
national
wealth.
unity and quotes.
If I may just be
That
allowed
is
1 minute,
previously
Your Honor, to
marked as
explain that.
Exhibit P,
The
dash Roman numeral 4, dash 16.
Unexplained wealth, Your Honor,
Okay?
that
you
is
peruse the
amassed
same?
prior to the term
And the question
of a
is,
Vice
what relation,
President
if any,
is
does that
relevant
document
and
have with the
material
printouts of the
to
screenshot
her
you mentioned?
being an impeachable officer.
This is a copy.
Because wealth of the magnitude of millions
How
or
faithful, if
billions,
at all,
ay
is
meron
this
pa rin
printout
pong
from the actual
pakinabang po yan
screenshots?
ang
The
Vice
printout
President
accurate reflects
kahit
the screenshot,
hanggang
sir.
ngayon.
How do you know
It's
that
very
the
clear
printout
that when a
accurately
local government
reflects
official, for example,
the
who
screenshot?
later
I
becomes a
compared the
national
printout
official,
with the screenshot and the
amasses
webpage of the EFP.
hundreds of
It found that
millions,
the
if not
contents are
billions
identical,
of
sir.
pesos,
Now, sinabi mo
then
rin,
Your Honor,
Mr.
for the record,
benefit
we have
continues
the
Counsel for
today.
respondent.
we have
Second,
the
if Your
copy
Honor,
of
please,
the document. How can
integrity, hindi
he
po
be
pwedeng
identifying the
biyakin
document
po yan.
when he does not have
Kesa
that copy?
dati
Are you
ay
following a
hindi po
script?
ganon at ngayon
Oh
may
my
ganun.
goodness, Your Honor,
It's
please.
very clear
I
that
move that
integrity
that
is a
statement by the
continuing
defense that the
requirement of
witness is
fitness
following
for
the street
office.
be stricken out of record.
Thank
For
you,
the
Your Honor.
record, Your Honor, the witness was perusing the
Duly noted and
document
entered into the
before
records.
he handed that to the defense.
Just
I move that the
thank you, Your
statements
Honor.
of the
Counsel for
defense be
respondent.
stricken out, Your Honor, please.
impeachment.
But he was
Comments
answering
of
the
comments of both
question.
counsels are simply noted. Kindly, if you're done with the document, counsel, kindly give it to the witness.
Your Honor, for the record,
I think the
the
good counsel has already
right-hand
stated,
portion of both documents
precisely the reasons,
have
for our
contain certified
position
true
that,
copies.
We maintain our belief
It's in a mere
that
photocopy,
the
Your Honor.
Duterte versus HOR ruling
The manifestation and objection is
precludes
duly noted.
any of
Same
these
ruling by this court.
calling
Witness may answer.
incursion
You-
again on private records
State for the
of
record
so
your
many
answer.
individuals and so
I
many
have compared
entities
the
when
screenshot
nothing in
with the
articles of
printouts and the
impeachment
webpage and
point
found that the
to
contents are
any
identical, sir.
specific allegations
Your Honor,
as to the
may continue.
relevancy
Mr.
of all
Witness,
these documents,
sinabi
Your
mo
Honor.
rin
But nonetheless,
na
we will
yung
include
PNP
all
ay
our
nag-issue rin ng
position
kanilang
and as well as
statement
our
sa mga
objections
naging
on the
pagbabanta
request made today
ng Vice
with respect
Presidente
to
sa
these
subject
documents.
video. Ano po ang pruweba mo
And,
kung meron
what
man
it would
of
seem
that
to the
PNP
defense
statements?
would be another
I have the screenshot of the statement of the PNP on their
2.0
Facebook
version
official
of a phishing
page
expedition.
dated November 23,
May I
2024,
also,
sir.
Your
Sino
Honor,
bang kumuha ng screenshot na yan?
I did, sir, and I used my
just to
laptop.
clarify
Ano
also
ginawa
the
mo
period
sa
given
screenshot
to
na
us
yan
to
kung
comment
meron
on
man?
Sinend ko
request
po yung
for
screenshot
subpoena.
doon sa laptop
May we
ko and
ask
print.
that the 5-day
And
period
then
run from
print
our
mo.
receipt
Saan na yung printout
of
ng
the,
screenshot na yan?
copies of the
Sinubmit ko po
documents.
sa Committee on Justice on House of Representatives.
Now, saan na yung printout ng screenshot na yan?
Sinubmit
Thank
ko
you,
po
Your
sa Committee on Justice.
Now, kung yung copy ng printout
Comments of
ng
both
screenshot
counsels of the
ipapakita
parties
sa
are
iyo,
duly
will
noted
you
and
be able to
the record.
rectify the
Chair would
same?
like to apologize
Yes, sir.
to Senator Cayetano,
Now.
who has been waiting for quite some time. Thank you for your patience.
I'm showing you
Senator
a printout of a screenshot ng Facebook post ng PNP
Senator Judge,
dated November 23, 2024.
Since
Title
we
is PNP Statement.
already stated
That
as
is
a court
previously
that,
marked as Exhibit P 14.
we will take literally
P dash Roman numeral 417.
Section
What relation, if any?
Your Honor, sa
May
paragraph
I
6
for
of
the
Article
respondent?
11
May I
of
ask
the
that we
1987
be allowed to
Constitution
peruse
that no
before
person
he
shall be
asks
convicted
his question to
without the
identify
concurrence
the
of 2/3 of all members of the Senate. May I ask the
Counsel is
members of
directed
this
to
court
kindly give
through the
opposing
presiding
counsel for the
justice to
respondent a copy of the
consider, not
document
today,
being presented to the witness.
I have a proposal, but not today, but to consider communication with the Sandigan Bayan for the attendance of Senator Dante Marcoleta and Senator Jinggoy Estrada, considering that the presiding officer may correct me if I'm wrong, but if we get to Section 21, as discussed a while ago by the defense, the prosecution and defense, and we do not know what will happen. Their case may be dismissed.
Your Honor,
they can be out on bail.
Both documents
So we want
appear
them to be able
photocopies, Your Honor.
to participate and observe the
Noted,
witnesses.
and I presume the continuing
as Senator
objection and
judges
comment
here.
of the counsel for
I
respondent
do
will be
know
placed on
that
record as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Senator Jinggoy
Witness
is
may
under
answer.
suspension, but there's an argument to be made that the
It is a
impeachment court
copy
is
of
sui
the
generis.
submitted document to the Committee on
In
Justice.
ordinary committee hearings,
How
we do
faithful, if at
coordinate
all,
with
is this
courts
printout sa naging
to
actual
ask
screenshot?
that persons
It
under their
accurately reflects
custody
the screenshot.
be delivered to the Senate
Paano mo
under
nasabi
or the
na
House of
that
Representatives
printout
under
accurately reflects the
certain
screenshot?
I
conditions.
compared the screenshot
So
with the
I'd like to
printout
formally
and
ask
the
Mr.
web
President that this
page
court
where this was posted and
consider
found that the
that
contents
I
are
will
identical.
submit whether
Okay,
you'd
so
rather
let's
have
go to
a
the last
caucus
agency,
or
Mr.
a
Witness. Nasabi mo
in-camera
rin
discussion,
na yung National
or if
Security
you want us
Council
all
or
to
NSC
submit our
nag-issue
legal
ng
opinion,
statement
I wouldn't
sa
also mind the
naging mga
prosecution
pagbabanta
and
ng
defense
Vice President.
weighing in.
Ano bong
But
pruweba mo kung meron
considering
man sa
that if they
naging
do not
tugon
attend,
ng National
and they are
Security
here,
Council or NSC?
Sorry,
I have
Mr.
the
President,
screenshot
considering
of
that
the statement of
if they do
National
not
Security
attend at all
Council
and cannot
on the
vote,
official webpage
their
of
vote
the
will be equal
Presidential
to a
Communication
acquittal.
Officer.
Sino yung kumuha
And
ng
as we said
screenshot?
from the start, we want
I
a
did, sir,
fair
and I used my
and
laptop.
Okay, anong ginawa mo
we
kung
want
meron man
justice.
sa
We
naging
want a
screenshot
fair
na yan?
Sinend ko
impeachment
muna
trial.
electronic copy ng
Sinabi
screenshot
ng
sa laptop ko.
prosecution
Sana
na
yung-
sana tignan yung ebidensya,
Sana
pakinggan
yung screenshot na yan?
mga
Alam mo.
witnesses. So kahit gawin to ni Senator Marcoleta at
Kung
kahit
yung
gawin to ni
kopya
Senator
ng screenshot na yan,
Jinggoy, and
ipapakita
of
sa'yo,
course this is my personal
ma-identify mo
opinion
ba?
that may
Yes, sir.
politika sa pagpapakulong
Now,
sa
we are in
kanila.
the process
That's my
of
political,
showing you
that's
a
my
printout.
personal
The
view.
defense may produce the document sa
Allowing
screenshot
them to
ng
attend here
National
might
Security
add
Council
to the
statement.
integrity
Okay,
of the
previously marked as
proceeding and
Exhibit
actually
P,
make
dash
things
Roman
easier
numeral
when the time comes to
4-18.
render a verdict. So may I submit that to the court and to our colleagues for discussion at the proper time, Mr. President.
The chair notes the comments and requests of Senator
Your Honor,
Judge
the
Cayetano
Exhibit
and will consult the
T-4-18
Senator
is a
judges regarding this
photocopy.
matter and shall noted coordinate with his
Okay.
office with respect to his request.
May I ask the question?
Kindly return the document to the witness so that witness may answer. And Senator
Mr.
Marcoleta,
Witness,
including whether or not
what
we will
relation, if any,
enlist
does that
the
document
comment
have
on
with the
and
printout of
position
the screenshot you
parties
mentioned?
to this case.
This is the copy that
So
was
ordered.
submitted to the Committee on Justice, sir.
How faithful, if at all, is that printout from the actual
Senator
screenshot?
What is the pleasure of
It
Senator
accurately
Judge
reflects the
Tulfo?
screenshot, sir.
And how do you know that that's printout accurately reflects the
Mr.
screenshot?
Presiding Officer, as far
I
as I'm
compared
concerned,
the
I would
screenshot
allow
with the
siguro
printouts and the web
mag-monitor
page
yung
and found that the contents are
mga si
identical.
Senator
Okay,
Jinggoy,
now, Mr. Witness,
Senator
let's
Marcoleta.
proceed.
They will be
Sinabi
allowed
mo rin
na kahit
na
naman
in the
sa
course
TV monitor.
you conducted
Para sa
yung
akin,
open
I do
source
agree
investigation
with
now.
what, Senator
What
Alvin
happened, if any,
Quintana was suggesting.
in the course of your investigation
The point of
in
Senator
relation to the
Rafi-
statements
Senator
of the
Judge
Vice
Rafi Tulfo
President
is well taken
after
by
you
the chair.
collated
Any others?
the videos, the screenshots of the
If there are
several
none,
governmental agencies?
Presiding officer would now like to
We
deal
then
with an
proceed to the
administrative
issuance of
matter before
subpoena,
we
sir,
adjourn for this
to
afternoon.
the following
On
individuals
the matter of
who were
providing
present
public access to
on
case
November
records.
23, 2024.
Yes, Senator Judge Marcos.
Bons
What is your pleasure,
Magsambol,
ma'am?
Yes, Presiding
Red
Officer.
Mendoza,
May I request an
Dempsey
update?
Reyes,
As I recall,
Ana
during the
Malindog
pre-trial
Uy,
conference, there was
Mikhail
disagreement on
Flores,
how to go about the
and
markings on the various
Jason
documents.
Rubrico, sir.
And among
Alright,
the thousands
yung
of
tanong,
pages
Mr.
that we have
Witness, is,
received
ba't kaya nag-issue,
in
kung alam mo, no?
evidence for
Ba't
the trial,
nag-issue
it
yung
apparently
NBI
was
nagsabina
resolved
sa mga
that the
tao?
councils would place their initials
Nandun po
on
kasi
the
sila
evidence.
sa
Is that correct? Is
presa
that
during the
still what
November
stands
23,
today?
2024 online
And each
press
party would
conference,
take
sir.
their respective
Alright, now,
evidence
ano
or
ba yung
files and
nangyari
present the
kung
same
meron
during the
man
trial to
after
guarantee that the
yung
same
NBI
evidence would be
nag-issue
presented?
ng
Is that
That
kaya
is correct,
sabpinas
with
ba
the
yan
exception
o
of some,
sabpine
I think, documents
sa mga
that
taong
where
ito?
The original was not presented,
Dumating
which is
po
being
sa office
corrected, I think,
namin
by the
si
parties as we
Dempsey
speak.
Reyes and
Are
Bons
we
Magsambol
in
noong
fact in
December
receipt as
4,
judges of all
2024
these thousands of
and
pages?
inassign po sa
Dahil
akin na i-interview
ako,
at
simple
ako
lang
i-interview.
hinahanap ko
So,
yung
Your Honor, please, may,
affidavit of
Dempsey Reyes
investigation,
says
yung
so,
dalawang
rest in peace.
NBI
Now,
na unang testigo
ano ba
na
yung
sana
nangyari?
haharap ngayon.
Kung meron man,
Nakita
during
ko
yung
sa
interview
libu-libong
with,
pahina na sinabmit,
namayapang
mali-mali
si
ang pagka-annex ng
Dempsey Reyes.
AOI. Hindi ko talaga mahanap.
He confirmed
Tapos,
po na
ang
he
sabi
was
doon,
present
Annex G.
during the
Pero nung
November
kinalkal ko yung
23,
Annex G,
2024 online
hindi naman
press
affidavit
conference.
yun, kundi
And he also
disbursement
confirmed
voucher or
that
something like that.
he heard the
Kaya
Vice President
hindi
utter
ko
the
alam
statement,
kung nag-provide ba talaga ang
quote-unquote,
clerk ng
may I
Senate
refer to
ng
the
records as
notes
marked during
for the exact
pre-trial
statement?
at kung pinal na talaga
Sir,
ito
the
at
witness may do
pag-aaralan
so.
natin.
At this point in time, Your Honor,
He confirmed
documentary
the
evidence
statement,
as of
heard
yet
the
has
statement
not
of the
been
Vice
formally
President,
offered and
quote and
therefore has
quote,
not been turned
yes,
over to
huwag
the
kang
court. Neither
mag-alala,
is it as of yet
ma'am,
been
sa security ko, kasi
by-
may
by a
kinausap na
witness
ako na
to
tao,
authenticate the same.
sinabi ko
Your
sa
Honor,
kanya,
To be allowed
May I object?
admission
This is
into
hearsay.
the records of this court. That time will come once the
Objection is
prosecution
sustained.
presents their witness and
Counsel,
identifies the piece of evidence.
Clearly,
That will be
you're
the proper
trying to use
time,
this
perhaps,
witness to present
that
an
the good senator
affidavit
judge
of
can
another
ask for a
person
copy because
who has
the lady might
already
want to ask
passed.
questions of the witness. Should,
if I may, Your Honor, please.
Counsel,
that time
Your Honor,
will come
please, that
for
is
the
not
witness
an
to testify
affidavit
as
of
to the
Dempsey
document
Reyes, Your Honor, please.
marked
The
previously
question was what
erroneously
happened
or rightfully
during
by
his
either party.
interview with
Yes,
that
precisely.
person.
Thank you
And
very
he's
much,
just answered
Presiding
the question
Officer.
by
We
saying
wish to prepare
that
for the three
Dempsey
first
Reyes
witnesses
confirmed
and were unable
that he
to
was
access
there
any of their
and
affidavits
that
or
he
other
heard
documents.
the
Thank you.
Vice President uttering
Duly
the
noted and
statements,
entered
Your
the
Honor,
records.
please.
What is the
Does that
pleasure of
hearsay, Your
Senator
Honor, please?
Judge
And be that as it
Padilla?
may, Your Honor, please, we invoke a doctrine that we call
tagapamahalan
an
ko kung
independently relevant
gusto ko lamang kung
statements.
sundan yung sinabi ni
The defense
Senator
is reacting. I don't know
Judge
why.
Alan Peter
Your Honor,
Cayetano.
please,
At
IRS
magpasalamat
would
po
allow
kay
this
Senator
witness
Judge
to
Rafi
testify
Tulfo.
as to what the
gusto ko
other
lamang pong
person
linawin na ang
told him
hinihingi po namin
as to
kung
that
hindi
fact,
man
the making of the
makapag-participate
statement,
dahil sinasabi
as
nga
to
po
whether or
ay
not what the
ipinagbabawal
person said
silang
is true or not, that
makapag-participate.
is not material
At
at this
bumoto
point.
si Senator
Let the clerk-
Jinggoy
let the
Estrada at
court clarify
Senator
then.
Judge Marcoleta.
As to
Ang
tenor,
hinihingi
the
po
court
namin
will
ay
allow it.
makapunta
As to
po
the
sila
fact-
dito
as
bilang
to the
observer.
supposed fact that
Hindi
the
lang po
witness told
basta
this
monitor.
What's his
Yun
name?
lamang po. Maraming
Dempsey Reyes. Noted at the proper time we shall
Made those
discuss
utterances
this
to the
matter
witness,
and
but
settle
not
it
as
as
to
a
the
court
truth.
or in caucus.
Of what Dempsey, Kaiden,
There being no other
Reyes,
senator judge who wishes to make a manifestation, comment, and
As
or
to
motion,
subject to
Chair
that
would now like to
verification,
dispose of an
court will
administrative
allow it.
matter.
Thank you
Counsel,
so-
proceed.
Thank you so much,
Consistent Consistent
Your
with
Honor, please.
Article 2,
What
Section
about
28
this
of the
bonds
Constitution on the policy of
magsanggol? Ano ba
public
yung nangyari
disclosure in
sa
matters
interview
involving
with
public
him, kung
interest and to
meron
give
man?
life to the directive
Bonds
under the
Magsanggol
rules to
also
open the
confirmed that he
impeachment
was
proceedings
present
to the public.
Objection,
on the-
Your
The
Honor.
court hereby
Same
directs the clerk
objection.
of court to
And
create
same
the
rule, I
necessary
suppose.
internet web pages to allow
Let
the
the
electronic
witness
records
first
of
answer and the
impeachment
court will make a
to
ruling
be made
because it might have a
accessible to
different
the
answer because
public
counsel,
through the Senate
note,
website, whereby
the
all
affidavit
pleadings,
of,
memoranda,
the witness
motions filed by the parties
appended
shall be uploaded submitted, including the journal of the proceedings after it shall have been approved by the impeachment court. Yun lang po siguro yung madedelay ng konti dahil kailangan aprubahan muna
on the matter.
ng
We may have
impeachment
the same
court yung
ruling
journal
unless he gives a
bago
different
po
answer.
namin ma-upload
Please,
sa
witness, Mr.
website.
Answer.
Yes, what is the
Please,
pleasure of
Mr.
Senator
Witness, kindly
Judge
answer.
Bam
Thank you,
Aquino?
Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. President,
Bondsman
on this
Sampol
note,
also confirmed that he
firstly,
was
we'd like
present
to
on the November 23,
second and
2024
congratulate
online
this
press
move of
conference
the
held by
impeachment
the
court
Office
to
of the
make
Vice
all of the
President.
evidence
And he also
available
confirmed
to the public. May we
that
know
he
in
heard
how
the
many
utterance
days
of the Vice
will the clerk
President
of
making
court
the statement.
make this evidence
Same ruling, only as to tenor.
available
Court
to the
will admit it,
public,
not
Mr.
as to the
President?
truth that indeed
They've
what
started,
Bond
but they have
said
not
is
completed
true,
it
but
yet.
only as to the
As
fact
Senator Judge
that he
Marcos
told the
said,
witness,
the documents
those
are
statements in the
voluminous.
Q&A that
I
they
think
had.
it
If I may.
what is the
It
pleasure of
covers
Senator
until
Judge Rafi Tulfo?
9Q, if I'm not mistaken, initially, when it was marked. About more than 10,000 documents.
Mr. Presiding
Mr. President,
Officer, I
of
just
course,
have some clarificatory
in the same way, if
questions
this
for
is
the
Gentleman may
made
proceed and
available
he
to
has
the
2
public
minutes.
6 months from now or
expert
1 year from now, that
witness,
defeats the purpose of
sabi
having
mo
this
meron
made
kang 2
public.
weeks
that will not
lecture.
happen.
Yes, may we get a commitment from the clerk of court as to the delay
digital evidence
by which
expert? Is that right?
presented
2
evidence
weeks?
is made public,
2 weeks
Mr. President?
Wala ka naman iba pang training?
I have a
Seminars?
training on different digital forensic aspect.
Dito sa abroad meron?
Meron po, pero yung specific sa photo and video authentication, yun po yung 2 weeks.
So all in all total you have 2 years experience plus 2 weeks lecture lang pagdating sa
Let me
authentication
clarify,
forensic evidence
Your Honor.
For the photo and video, sir.
for the
I
photo and
believe
video
the,
which
impeach,
ito yung
the articles
pinag-usapan
of
natin ngayon.
impeachment as
Now,
well as its
my
annexes
question
have
to
been
you, in your
uploaded.
testimony, Mr. Witness, you
The
did mention
answer
that you
as well
personally
as its
investigated
annexes
the
have been
alleged
uploaded,
inciting to
and
sedition
most of
by
the
the
exhibits
VP Sara
that were marked,
Duterte
not all,
video, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are
Now,
annexes
in
of
doing
either
so,
the impeachment complaint and or
in the course of your
answer.
investigation,
Can
did
the
you look
chair
at the
give you an
comment
update before
section?
the week is over
If
as
you
to a
did,
realistic
ano yung mga reactions
timetable
doon?
to upload
Ano
in
yung mga,
real time already?
statements
Again, except
doon
for
sa
the
comment
journal,
section?
which we need to approve.
Na mga
So
nag-view ng
we cannot
videos?
upload the Wednesday transcript or journal
There are comments that
until
they
we meet
agreed
again on
to
Monday
the
and approve the
statement
journal
of the Vice
Wednesday.
President, but
So
it
that
was
would be
not
the only
documented,
delay,
sir.
if at
That's
all,
all.
in uploading it.
Mr.
That should be the only
Officer,
delay.
thank you.
So if I take it
Thank you,
correctly,
Senator
Mr.
Judge
President,
Tulfo.
the clerk of
Counsel,
court will
you may
endeavor
proceed.
to
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
upload
Mr.
all of the
Witness,
presented
let's
evidence
proceed.
in real time
What proof, if any, do
at
you
the
have
soonest
that
possible
Dempsey
time,
Reyes
except for the
confirmed that
journal,
he heard
which
the Vice
needs
President utter
approval
those
of the body.
words?
That is correct, Your
I
Honor.
have
Thank you, Mr.
the
President.
signed minutes
Senator
of interview
Judge
with
Cayetano
Dempsey
Allen?
Reyes and an affidavit that I executed attesting to the interview, sir.
Presiding Senator
Alright,
Judge.
now, what about
Just a
this
clarification,
Bones
no?
Magsambon?
So, no
What proof, if
problem
any, do
with
you have
complete
that he
transparency
confirmed
with,
that he heard the Vice
any public
President utter
records.
those
But
words?
when we talk about evidence,
I have the minutes of interview with Bones Magsambol, sir.
Diba precisely
that he
that's
signed,
why
and I
we
also
want
have
a fair
the
trial,
affidavit
due process.
attesting that I interviewed
There's a
Bones Magsambol,
process
sir.
wherein
So far, Mr.
the
Witness, you
prosecution
mentioned
shall
1
present evidence,
minutes and affidavits.
then
Now,
they
kung
will
yung mga
offer it.
dokumentong ito,
And then if there's a
ipapakita
question
sa'yo,
as
do you
to
think
the
you'll be able to identify the same?
relevance or
Yes, sir.
if it is
Now,
prohibited.
I'm
For
now
example,
showing you a document
if a
entitled Side
evidence
Minutes that
presented
is
is a
previously
fruit of the
marked as
poisonous
Exhibit
tree.
P dash Roman
Will we
numeral
upload
4-20 and series.
we haven't decided yet here whether
Please
we will
peruse
accept it
that
as
document.
evidence or not. So
May
let
the
me tell you
defense
first
be
which
allowed
ones
also to peruse,
personally I don't have a problem
The
with.
defense may,
Don't
the
have a
counsel
problem with
correspondent may
the
look at
public
the document.
records in general being completely transparent. I have no problem with Senator Judges given time to review everything, and I assume we're all trained to consider only the evidence that is later on admitted, offered and admitted. So my problem is that, for example, no, if someone offers now, between now and the trial, wiretapped recordings, do we upload that when we have not made a ruling yet on that? So I just want to be clarified on that.
The chair will clarify. As the chair said earlier, only the pleadings, motions, and memoranda filed by the parties, and insofar as the exhibits marked are concerned, only those attached as annexes to either the articles of impeachment and or the answer to the impeachment complaint. Insofar
Honor,
as
for the record,
documentary
the
evidence is concerned,
documents
it will only be
marked as
admitted and
Exhibit
if at all admitted by the court and published once formal offer has been made.
P-4-20E
Until
are
such time,
photocopies.
we will not
and
publish any documentary evidence even after being identified
Exhibit
by a witness, because it is the formal offer that will determine its admission by the court after
unreadable.
the
Same
party
thing
rests.
Just to clarify, same with if we do issue a
20
subpoena.
E, Your Honor.
Which one is unreadable? The subject matter of the subpoena will not be published, but the
P-4-20D
motion
and
for the issuance of a subpoena
Thank you.
will.
Thank you for that clarification.
20
Thank you, Your Honor. Senator Judge
D for
Erwin
dog, Your
Tulfo is recognized. What is your pleasure, sir?
D and E.
Thank you,
Delta
Mr. President.
Echo.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Just want to be clarified. I need a clarification.
What does
Mr. Presiding Officer. With regards to this
P-4-20D seek to show
anti-money laundering
counsel for the
council documents
prosecution?
or
If I
pieces
may
of
peruse
evidence
the
that will be
document, John,
submitted
please.
here, will it be okay if we tackle this in public, or shall we tackle
Because indeed, the presiding
evidence
officer
from the
confirms
AMLOC
that it is
during an
I cannot
executive
decipher
session? I
what
believe
it seeks to show.
this
the
is
photocopy
under
of a
the bank
photocopy
secrecy
is
law,
what
or
I have.
we can tackle it
So,
because this
may
is
we
an
be
impeachment
given
court.
2 minutes,
Mr.
to,
Presiding Officer.
What we will
secure
debate upon, if at all,
the other
on the
copies of
scheduled
that
date to
document.
be set by the chair is
Your Honor,
and
a
P-4-
debate
on whether or not
Roman
to
numeral number
issue
4
the subpoena.
20E.
Duces
Yes, Your
tecum
Honor.
ad testificandum.
Your Honor,
This is the one with the
AMLC
blurred
records,
face of the
not
Vice
the actual
President.
Yes, Your
records
Honor.
yet.
On a computer.
Once it is
Your Honor, may we object for
granted by the court
on
and is
the 2
issued,
minutes, because this
it will
is
be
the document
it will
that
have
we're
to be
already having him
presented by the
identify.
parties.
Uh,
We cannot
do
tackle
they
and
need to
discuss
correct
it in
that
executive
mistake?
session, because anything and everything discussed in executive session
Yeah, Your Honor.
cannot be revealed into
Your
the
Honor,
public and used
if
by
I may,
counsel for the
We
prosecution.
abide by the copies
Secondly,
as they
it
are.
can only be if
We
at
abide by the
all
copies as they are, Your Honor.
revealed by a unanimous vote or
so let's
consent
see.
by all the
Yes.
senator
What do you
judges,
see in front
which
of you?
effectively
Insofar
ties
as P-4
that piece of evidence if
20D
we discuss
and E
and
is
talk
concerned.
about it only in executive session. Whether or not it is to be made public, whether or not it can be legally obtained, will be decided by this court after hearing the oral arguments of the parties.
Thank you for that clarification, Mr. Presiding Officer.
What is the pleasure of Senator Judge Villanueva?
Yes, Mr. President. Considering that we have been tackling and asking of pieces of evidence, I think there's
So
a lot
malabo yung copy
of
natin. Yan at yung
questions with regard to the mahiwagang BIR box, Mr. President. Yung
Mr.
clarification
Witness,
lang
you
po,
don't see anything, it's okay.
where is it
I can
now
only
and
confirm the signed
when
minutes, but
are we
the
going to
annexes, there are some unreadable,
transfer
Your
it to the Bureau of Internal Revenue?
It is
But
with
the
the
signed
clerk
minutes,
of
I
court
confirm,
in the
sir,
office
that
of the
please the what?
Secretary
Copy
General
of
as
the
instructed by the
minutes.
chair. It should be
Your Honor,
sent
is the
back
copy
to
of the
PNR
minutes, but
by
not the
tomorrow
attachment, because
morning.
clearly the
in the
attachment
condition that it was
P-4-20D
received,
and
meaning
-E
sealed.
The same.
Are both,
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any other
Would that be correct?
manifestations
Yes, Your
or
Honor.
motions on the part of the
So
senator
only as
judges?
to the supposed affidavit and not to the two attachments.
Senator
Yes, Your
Gracias
Honor.
Tiveros is recognized. What is your pleasure, ma'am?
Noted.
Thank you so
Salamat
much.
po, Mr. Presiding Officer. Just to make a brief
Now, on page 4 of the signed
statement,
minutes,
in
Mr.
support
Witness,
of the ruling recently
there
proclaimed
appears
by the
a
presiding
signature above the
officer
name
on,
Dempsey
executive
Saiden
sessions.
Reyes. Whose signature is that, if you know?
Noted.
Mr.
It is
President
the
of
signature
records.
of Dempsey Reyes, sir.
And just
And how do you know
add a
that
little
that
bit,
is his
of that,
signature?
Lady,
Mr.
may proceed.
Presiding
I
Officer.
saw him sign the
Thank you.
document after our interview,
The
sir.
executive session is only for
Now, on page
Congress
4 of the signed
acting in
minutes,
its
may
usual
pirma din
legislative functions,
sa
and
ibabaw ng
impeachment
pangalan
trials
ng
do
isang
not contemplate
Attorney
executive
Jetro
session. So,
Lorenza A.
I
Cuon.
join with the
Kaninong
presiding
signature
officer
ito kung alam
in the
mo?
call that he made, which I
Signature
believe
of
is the
Attorney
default
Cuon po,
also
who
of
is
this
the
impeachment
counsel
trial
of Dempsey Reyes
court,
and
for
present during the
transparency,
interview, sir.
And,
as a
how do you
general
know that
rule
that
and
is
as a
signature?
default.
I
Salamat
saw
po,
him
Mr.
sign the
Presiding
document
Officer.
after the interview,
Thank you,
sir.
Senator Judge Tiveros.
Now,
Before the court
sa
adjourns,
page
Chair
4
directs
ng
the clerk
signed
of court
minutes,
to kindly make sure that the
let's go
subpoena
to
for the
page
two
4, Mr.
NBI
Witness.
agents will be issued this
Makikita mo
afternoon
dyan
and duly
yung
received,
signature sa
and entrusts
ibabaw
it
ng
to the
pangalan
counsel for
Agent
prosecutors
John
to
Mark
make sure,
Calidong. Whose signature is that, if you know?
of the
This is my
attendance
signature, sir.
of their two
Okay, now, let's,
witnesses
you also mentioned
tomorrow.
ng mga ng
Likewise, the
affidavit.
chair
No, kung yung
reminds the clerk of
affidavit
court
na
to
ito ay
furnish
papakita sa iyo,
right after
will
we
you be
adjourn
able to
counsel
identify the same?
correspondence with a copy
Yes, sir.
Now,
of
ipinapakita
your
ko
request
sa
for
inyo
the
now
issuance of
yung
subpoena
affidavit
thus far
dated
submitted
February 10,
and filed.
2025.
with the
Honor,
office
may we
of
also
the
be
clerk
allowed to
of court.
Yes.
So ordered.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Kindly
There being no
exhibit
other
and show
business to
counsel
discuss.
for the respondent the
The
document
trial is
you are
hereby
showing to the
adjourned
That is
until 2
previously
p.m.
marked as
of
Exhibit
Tuesday,
P,
tomorrow,
dash
July
14,
7,
dash 19, and
2026.
series.
Mr. President, I'm explaining my vote.
The lady has 2 minutes.
Thank you. Dear colleagues, my explanation
And if the
includes
honor, if the court
reminder
may
to all of you
inquire
na
as
hindi
to
niyo kasundo si
the
Alan.
remainder of the
Alam mo,
testimony of
kasundo niyo
witness,
ako. So,
we are in
sarado
the
ang
we are about to
pag-isip niyo
wind
na
up
si Alan
the
nagpaliwanag. Ako
testimony
naman
of
ang
witness
magpapaliwanag.
office.
Pagbigyan niyo naman ako.
Your
Thank
Honor,
you,
for the
counsel.
record, this is a
But
photocopy.
What
This
I'm
is
saying is
Exhibit
not new from what
P-4-19.
Senator Alan Cayetano
Noted.
expressed. And I have here
Okay.
copies of the constitutional
Mr. Witness, have you perused the
verbatim
documents?
debate on this provision.
Have
And
you perused
as
the
Senator
document?
Alan read,
Nabasa mo na ba yung
sinabi ni
dokumentong
Mr.
yan?
Monsod,
Yes,
is
sir.
it not understood
Now, what
that when the
relation, if
President
any,
of the
does that
Philippines is on
document have with the
trial, it is the
affidavit
only
you
time when
mentioned?
the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court will
This
preside?
is the affidavit,
Is it necessary to say that the
attesting may
Senate
interview with
President
them si
will
Reyes, sir.
preside during all
Copy of the
other
affidavit,
times?
sir.
Ulitin ko yung tanong.
Now, on
kasi
page
yun ang
2
tanong
of the
natin today.
affidavit, may
Is it
makikita ang
necessary
pirma
to say in the
sa ibabaw ng
Constitution
pangalang
that
Agent
the
John
Senate
Mark
President
Calidong.
will preside
Kaninong pirma ba
during
yan?
all other times?
It is my signature, sir.
Ang
Now,
sagot
on
ni Mr.
page 2,
Davide,
may
Mr.
pirma
Presiding
din
Officer,
sa
I
ibabaw
precisely
ng pangalang
presented that
Attorney
because
Van
we have a
Hummer ang
distinction
Luben.
when it
Kaninong
comes to the
pirma ba
Chief
yan?
Justice of the Supreme
Signature po
Court.
ni Attorney ang
But with
Luben,
that
sir.
Ba't
clarification,
mo nalaman
that in
na
all
yan ay
other
isang
cases,
pirma
it would
ni
be the
Attorney ang
President of
Luben?
the Senate who will preside.
I saw him
withdraw
sign the
the
document
amendment.
and I
Kaya
have viewed
clear
and
sa
acted upon documents
Constitution
bearing his
that in
signature.
all
Now,
other
uh,
cases, the President
thank you
of
so
the
much.
Senate will decide.
Now,
Wala, hindi ho applicable dito.
I'm now showing you the
yung
other affidavits
excluso
of even
unos.
date, February 10, 2025.
Hindi ko na-memorize
That
yan
is
kasi I
previously
graduated
marked
in
as Exhibit
1991. And we
P,
took that up in
Roman numeral
1987. But the
4,
phrase
21
is,
and
pag
series.
hindi kasama excluded,
Can you
hindi po
peruse the same?
applicable yun. With all due respect to
may
our
be
former
allowed. Thank
Senate
you, Your Honor.
President, it is the intention of the framers
show
that
counsel for
matter.
respondent a copy
I
of
will
the
ask the
document
page to help me
that the
distribute
witness
this
will
among our
testify to.
colleagues.
Thank you so much.
For the record, Your Honor, the Exhibit
I have also
P-4-21
asked
and
our
Exhibit
staff to actually
P-4-21A
copy. I am
are photocopies.
environmentally friendly,
Duly
so
noted.
ayoko sana ng
Kindly
papel.
return the document
Pero
to
alam
the
ko na
witness
hindi
for
po lahat
response.
sa atin gumagamit
returning
ng
the
digital
document to the witness.
ng electronic gadgets, kaya pinapil ko na lang. Pero
Stephen,
kailangan ko pakita sa inyo yung mismong nasa journal. Yan din yon. Yan din yon, my dear
Counsel,
colleagues.
please proceed.
Yun lang, yun
thank
lang
you,
hiling ko
so
sa inyo.
much, Your Honor, please.
Intindihan naman natin
On,
yung nandito. Bumoto na.
What relation,
Pero
if any,
intindihan naman
have
natin
you answered the
kasi this is
question? Does
just
this
the first
document
day.
have with the one you
We
mentioned?
cannot disregard the
This is
Constitution
the
and I
copy of the
continue, Mr.
affidavit of
President.
interview with Bonds Magsambol. Your Honor,
We have enough
Please, the copy, sir.
jurisprudence. More
Now, on
than
page
enough.
2 of the affidavit, may pirma
To explain
sa
to
ibabaw
us,
ng pangalang
even in
Agent
layman's
John
term,
Mark Calidong. Kaninong pirma
what
ba yan?
basic legal
This is my
principles
signature,
are.
sir.
And
Sa
one of the most
pahina,
fundamental
page
principle
2,
of
may makikita
constitutional
din isang
construction
pirma sa ibabaw ng pangalang
states
Attorney
that we
Van
give-
Hummer ang Luben. Kaninong
we
pirma ba
give
yan?
effect. We
This
give
is the signature of Attorney
to
Van
the
Angruben,
intents
sir.
of the
Ba't mo
framers
nalaman
of the
na yan
Constitution.
ay isang pirma
With
ni
this
Attorney
vote,
ang Luben?
Did we give effect?
Nakita ko po niya,
To the
pinirmahan po yung
intentions
document.
of the framers of the
and may mga
Constitution.
documents
Sinabi
pa po
nga,
nakita
Senate
na
President
pirma
ang
din.
magpe-preside.
Now, Mr. Witness,
Hindi na
thank you
siguro
so much.
napakalaking bagay
Now,
yun,
we
dahil
are
kahit
showing
sinong
you
ipalit
yung
nyo,
dokumento
maayos
entitled
naman
Signed Minutes. That is
mga kasama natin
previously
sa
marked
colleagues.
Exhibit
Sa
P,
colleagues natin, maayos
dash
naman.
Roman
Yun
numeral
ang point.
4,
The
dash
point is,
22 and
what are we
series.
required to follow? That's why
May you
the
peruse the
Constitution
same. Defense may
And
also
I will
peruse that
now
document.
state,
Thank you, Your Honor.
for the record, a few
Kindly show a copy
cases
to the counsel for respondent.
point out that this is what we are supposed to do. Give effect to the Constitution. Lambino versus Commission Election in GR number 174153, the Supreme Court looked explicitly to the Constitutional Commission deliberation to determine the nature of people's initiative. Because the text was debated, the court used the framers' explicit intention. I repeat, the court used the framers' explicit intention revealed in the plenary debates to prevent deceptive or misleading petition processes and establish a stringent full text requirement. So anong ginawa sa kaso? Tiningnan ang intent ng framers of the Constitution.
Your Honor,
Another case,
Exhibits P-4-22
Calderon
to
versus
exhibits.
Carale. GR number 9163.
P-4-22G are
God bless his soul.
photocopies.
Si
And
Dean Carale was my
exhibit
dean. Senator Imes as well.
P-4-22F Foxtrot and
Senator Kikos as
P-4-22G
well.
Golf
He was with
are
my father in the
unreadable.
University of Michigan. So, pagbigyan nyo na ako. A
For the
moment
record, we
of,
are returning the
remembering.
document to the witness.
For the record as
In
well,
GR
Chair
number
confirms the observation of
91636, the
counsel
court
for
resolved a
respondent in regard
dispute
to
regarding the President's power to make
P-4-22F and
appointments without confirmation by the
P-4-22G.
Commission appointment. The court examined the
And, the
historical
presiding officer would
and
like to
textual
once again ask the
context of
witness, can
Article
he
7,
decipher
Section 16 of the 1987
what is in,
Constitution, noting that
the
the
two
clear
exhibits
and
mentioned by
express
counsel for
intent
respondent?
of its
Again,
framers was to
P-4-22F,
exclude presidential appointments from confirmation
P-4-22G.
except for those expressly mentioned. So, balik ko sa kasong to. What was the clear intention? That the Senate President presides. That is
Your
the
Honor,
clear intention. Dear
I
colleagues,
can
umpisa pa lang.
confirm the
I
the
beg
signed
all of
minutes,
you.
but the attachment,
Makinig
there are
naman tayo.
unreadable, Your Honor.
Masunod naman tayo.
The two,
Kung ano yung
exhibits.
Annex A and
sinasabing
Annex B.
trabaho
With
natin.
exhibit
The Constitution, the intention of
for-
the framers, and then the clear
That's
construct.
22.
O, another
F
case.
and
Gold Creek
P4-22G.
Mining Corporation
Duly
versus
noted.
Rodriguez.
Thank you so much.
This is a
May
very
proceed, Your
old
Honor, please.
case. Yung
On
mga
page
binanggit
6
sa inyo.
ng side minutes,
Bago-bago pa
may
yun dahil
makikitang
si Dean
pirma
Carale,
sa
buhay pa
ibabaw
naman
ng pangalang
as of
Bones
the pandemic.
Magsagbol,
So,
Magzambol.
2,000
Kaninong
plus.
pirma ba yan?
Ito, 66 Philippines, 259. So, for lawyers and law students, pag sinabing Philippines, pag yan yung ni-record, alam mo ng 19... Ano ba yan?
This is the
60s,
signature
1940s,
Bones
something
Magzambol,
like
sir.
that.
Then how do you
Justice
know
Jose
that
Abad Santos
pirma yan?
articulated
Ni
the
Attorney,
definitive rule.
ni Bones
The
Magzambol.
fundamental principle
Nakita
of
ko po ito
construction
nung
is to
sinign
give
po niyo
effect
document
to the
after ng
intent
interview.
of the framers
Now,
of the
you go
organic
to
law
page 6
and
ng
of the
side
people
minutes na yan. May
adopting it.
makikitang pirma sa ibabaw ng
Dear colleagues,
pangalang
I can stand here and
Attorney
read more
Michael
cases
Christopher
to all
De
of
Castro.
us.
Kaninong pirma ba yan kung alam mo?
We have
Pirma
law
po ito ni
students.
Attorney De Castro.
We have
Counsel po
freshman
ni Bones
law
Magzambol
students.
during
We
the time
have
ng
fresh
interview na
graduate.
present
We
during
have
that
bar
time.
reviewees listening
Yung
to
tanong
us.
is, paano mo
Tapos
nalaman
tayo pa
na
lang.
yan ay pirma ni
Hindi natin
Attorney
mabigyan mahalaga.
Attorney
Ang
De
very clear
Castro?
legal principles.
Nakita ko pong pinirma niya to after the
Pati yung
interview, sir.
prosecution and defense.
Now, let's go to page 6 of that
Huwag niyong
minutes.
abalahin
May
yung oras
makikitang
namin.
pirma sa ibabaw
Bigyan niyo
ng
naman kami
pangalang
ng
Agent
maliwanag.
John Mark Kalilong.
Yung
Kaninong
mga
pirma ba
arguments
yan?
ninyo because we are willing
Pirma
to
ko po,
listen.
sir.
Pero colleagues,
Okay.
patunayan naman natin
Now,
that we are willing to
Mr.
listen.
Witness.
Hindi yung pagpasok natin, nag-prejudge na tayo. Kasi sad to say, mukhang ganon.
Mr.
I tell
Witness,
you, there will be times I probably
you
will not
mentioned
vote with the minority because
that
I
the
believe tama yung
NBI
sinasabi ng
conducted an
majority.
investigation on the threats
Sana po,
uttered by
yun ang
the
pakita
Vice
natin sa
President
taong
against the
bayan.
President,
So, hindi ko
the
na
First
abalahin
Lady,
yung time
at
dahil
former
kakaupo pa
Speaker of
lang
the
ng
House of
bagong
Representatives. Now,
presiding officer, pero
ano
ang
ba yung
dami pang kaso
nangyari?
that says,
Ano ba yung
look
nangyari
at
kung
the intent
meron man
of the framers of the
pagkatapos
Constitution. And today, we
ng
disregarded
naging investigasyon ng
the intent
NBI?
of the framers of the Constitution.
Objection, Your
Magandang
Honor.
hapon po. Kaya
Misleading.
ng
He
pag-uumpisa
assumes
ng
as
hearing
fact
na ito.
not testified
We know the
to
remarks
by the
of
witness.
Senator
Kindly rephrase,
Pia in connection with the
Okay,
with their
now,
explanation of vote.
what happened
What is the
next,
pleasure
if
of Senator
any?
Judge Soto?
And if you know,
my vote also, Mr.
and
President.
in
Gentleman may
relation
proceed,
to
and he
the
has 2 minutes.
investigation conducted by the NBI,
one line to say that's the reason
after the NBI's investigation.
the minutes of the
Objection, Your Honor. Same objection.
research
Your Honor, please, if I may,
Witness may answer.
After the
What is the pleasure of the
investigation,
Honorable
we
Padilla?
executed an affidavit of investigation and recommended the filing of inciting sedition
Will the
and
gentleman explain
3
his vote?
counts of rape threat,
The gentleman
both
may
in
proceed. You have 2
relation
minutes, sir.
to Cybercrime
salamat
Prevention
po,
Act of 2012, sir.
Ginoong punong tagapamahala.
now, sinabi mo na
mahal
yung
kong
NBI, you signed,
Sa loob po
executed
ng
yung
4 na
affidavit of
na ako
investigation,
po
correct?
ay ibinoto
Now,
ng ating
ano
mga
ba yung
kababayan
nangyari?
at nagsilbing
Kung meron
senador.
man, at saka
Ako po
kung
ay
alam mo,
naging tagapangulo
okay,
ng
pagkatapos may
komite
execute ang affidavit
ng
of investigation
Constitutional
na yan,
Amendment.
in relation to the investigation
tuwing
you did on the Vice President.
meron pong
We filed it to the
Pagdinig.
DOJ, the affidavit of
ang
investigation,
lagi po
together with
naming
its annexes,
pinapatawag
sir.
Okay, you said
ay yung
you
mga
filed the
sumulat
affidavit. Now,
ng
question,
konstitusyon.
ano yung mga nangyari kung
sila
meron
po
man,
ang
kung
nakakaalam
alam mo,
kung ano
after
ang puso
ma-file yung
diwa
affidavit of
ng
investigation
konstitusyon.
with the DOJ in relation to the
Malinaw po
investigation you conducted on the Vice President.
na kung meron
We
tayong
further conduct an
pakikinggan,
investigation wherein we
yung
identify
creator.
different
Hindi po
videos,
ba?
at least 3,
tayo naman po
that
lahat ay
we find
naniniwala
relevant to the
Panginoong
November
Diyos.
23, sir.
Okay, so
Kaya
you are
tayo
now
po ay
mentioning
naniniwala
videos.
sa salitang
Sinabi mo relevant.
creator.
Relevant again to what?
Tagapaglikha.
To the November 23, 2024
At ang lumikha
video,
po
sir.
ng konstitusyon
So for the record, this is
ay
now the third set of
itong mga
videos
taong
you're referring
nabanggit
to.
sa ipinamahagi
Ano yung mga
ng ating mahal na
videos
senadora
ito? Kung alam
Cayetano.
mo, Mr. Witness.
Malinaw po dito. Nasabi na po sa
June
English ito.
19
Mainam po ay
video
sabihin po
wherein
natin
the
sa
Vice
Tagalog
President resigned
upang mas
as the
maintindihan po
Secretary of the
ng
Department
ating
of
mga
Education.
kababayan.
The July 11 video
Hingi po ako ng tulong
the
sa
Vice
Google
President state that she would not attend
kasi
the SONA,
legal
but
terms po
instead
ito.
declare
Hindi naman po
herself
ako
as the
nagtapos sa
designated
UP.
survivor.
Hindi
And
rin po ako
lastly,
nagtapos sa Ateneo.
the November 26
Nagtapos
video
po ako
wherein the
ng
Vice
criminology
President did
at
not
UP
deny
rin sa University
making
of
statement,
Prison.
but instead confirmed that she
Ang
already
sabi po dito,
talked to someone
sa
to kill the
Tagalog po,
President, the First Lady, and former Speaker of the House if
Ginoong
she was
presiding
killed.
officer,
So for the record, you
Eksakto
mentioned
ko
three
itong
videos.
hinihain
One is dated June 19,
dahil nagkaroon tayo ng
2024,
pagkakaiba
June 11, 2024,
pagdating
tsaka
sa
November
punong
26
maestrado ng Korte Suprema.
24. Now, let's go to this
Ngunit,
video.
sa
sinabi
paglilinaw
mo
na
ng
iyon,
Vice President
na sa
resigning
lahat,
as a Secretary ng Department of Education
sa lahat
on June 19.
ng ibang mga kaso
that you
ay
have
ang Pangulo
sinabi mo rin na
ng
authenticated
Senado
yung video, correct?
ang
Ano
mamumuno.
yung pruweba mo that you
Kaya
authenticated
binabawi
this
ko
video?
ang nasabing
I have executed
susong.
an affidavit of authentication
Ang
of
nagsabi
digital
po nito
evidence
ay ang
dated
dating justice.
April 30,
Justice David.
2026, sir.
Kung yung
Ngayon,
kopya
mga mahal
ng
kong
affidavit
kasama,
of authentication now dated,
sa ating
sinabi
pong mga
mo,
taga-subaybay,
April 30, 2026, may
ang batas
papakita
po
sa'yo.
ay
Okay?
precise.
Ma-identify mo ba yan?
Hindi po
Yes,
ito
sir.
pwedeng
Now, we are in the process
iba-ibahin
of showing
o
you
baluktutin.
yung isang
Kung ano
affidavit
ang
of
sinabi lalo
authentication of
ng
digital
saligang
evidence
batas ay sana
dated
po ay
April
panghawakan
30,
natin.
2026 that
Ngayon,
is previously
sa loob
marked
po
as
ng apat na
Exhibit
taong ko dito, lagi pong sinasabi
Roman numeral
yung tradisyon.
4-25 and series.
Minsan yung rules
Defense
na yan,
is in the
nawawala
process of
yan.
manifestation of perusing
Ilang beses
that
na ho ako
document.
naguluhan dito dahil teka, sundin natin yung tradisyon kaysa yung rules. 2 beses na po nagkaroon ng impeachment. Yung unang impeachment, ang nag-preside ay yung Chief Justice, yung kay Pangulong Estrada. Yung sumunod po, nandito na po ako nun. Ang nag-preside ay ang mahal na Bicolanong kaibigan ko, Senador Chis Escudero. Yun po kasi yung nasasabi sa saligang batas at tradisyon. Yun na po yung nangyari. Ngayon, gusto ko pong tanungin yung mga kasama ko sa majority. Personal na tanong po ito. Nung hinihikayat po akong sumama sa majority, isa lang ang sinabi ko.
Exhibits.
Kung si Senator Chis Escudero,
Thank you, Your Honor.
ang kababayan kong
Exhibit
Bicolano,
P-4-25
ang gagawin
to
yung Senate
Exhibit
President, lilipat ako sa inyo.
P-4-25F.
Ang hindi ko maintindihan,
Foxtrot
bakit ngayon,
are
pinipilit
photocopies, Your
natin
Honor.
ng ating presiding
Exhibit
officer,
P-14
Escudero.
-25B.
Ba't hindi natin siya ginawang Senate
and
President noon?
P-14
Yun lang po ang tanong ko. Maraming
-25F
salamat.
Foxtrot.
The remarks of the
Take it
gentleman
to
is noted. Senator Marcos, what is your
P-4-25B, Your
pleasure?
Honor. P-12-25B
The lady may do so.
is
You have 2 minutes,
unreadable,
ma'am. Kindly be
and
mindful of
it
the
merely
clock.
shows a black screen.
Yes, thank you very much.
Meanwhile,
Ang sabi sa atin nung bata tayo,
P-25F
kapag mali ang umpisa,
seems to
mali
be
na
a
ang lahat na
photocopy of
susunod.
a USB
Ayoko naman
with no
magkamali sa
USB,
umpisa pa
real
lamang na
USB attached.
napakahalagang paglilitis na ito.
For
Unang-una,
the record, we are returning the
paulit-ulit
Duly
na
noted.
natin
The presiding
sinaad
officer likewise confirms the
na
observation of
ang
counsel for the
ating
respondent.
saligang
Kindly
batas
return
ay
the
hindi
document to the
maaring
witness.
baluktutin.
Mr.
At
Witness,
napakaklaro
the
nito.
question is, what relation, if any,
ang
does that document
sinasabi
have with the affidavit
ng
you
ating
mentioned?
Constitution of 1987, Article 11, Section 3, Number 6, all other impeachable officers ang sinasabi, carving out therefore the exception that proves that rule, that the Chief Justice is the single exception, and otherwise the presiding officer should be the Senate President. It is the exception that proves the rule. Palibasa na uso ang Latin, may kabaliktaran din sa kinote ni Senator Soto, expressio unius exclusio alterius. Palibhasa, hindi naman in-exempt, ibig sabihin na laging dapat ang Senate President ang presiding officer. Ikalawa, nakita naman natin ang
This is a copy
mga
of the affidavit of
debate,
authentication
ang
of digital
listahan ng
evidence
mga sinabi
dated
at
April
paliwanag
30,
nung dating
2026, which I
Chief
executed,
Justice natin,
and on the
si
annexes,
Mr. Davide,
on Annex
nung
B,
panahon
there is a
nung
missing part.
convention. Contextual reading and the thorough debate do not allow for any interpretation whatsoever.
I can
And
read some
we should abide by that.
words.
Ikatlo,
On Annex
yung
B.
kaduda-dudang quorum nung June 3 na
Mr. Witness, when you
pinapaliwanag
say
ng
Annex B,
aming
you're referring to
minority
Exhibit
leader na
P-4-25C.
hanggang ngayon nakatenga
Yes,
pa
Your
rin. Kung
For
tutuusin,
the record,
nung
please
sinasabing na amyenda, yung Supreme Court petition ay pending pa. Kaya hindi karapat-dapat
And also
na yun
on
ang sundan.
Annex D, Exhibit
Ikalima,
P-4-25P.
it's not the impeachment court
There is
but the
some
Senate that amended the rules.
But-
Kaya para sa akin, napakaraming dahilan. Huwag sana nating sayangin itong
only missing is
napakahalagang
the hash
responsibilidad natin
maybe due
at huwag
to
mag-umpisa
printing.
sa mali itong paglilitis.
For the record-
Maraming
Recognizable.
salamat.
Thank you,
For the
Senator
record, Your
Marcos.
Honor,
Duly noted
the hash
and
file
entered
is
into the records.
missing. The witness
pleasure
said
of
dash
Senator
file
Legarda.
is missing.
Senator Judge
Document.
Legarda, rather. The hash file is missing as stated by the witness. Yes. Please proceed, Mr. Witness. How about P-425F?
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Where the
Yes, I
Constitution
confirm,
is
Your Honor.
silent,
He will explain
For
her
the
vote.
packet
What do you
of flash
confirm?
drive
The
or make a
picture
it's a
ng USB to?
manifestation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Lady may
Picture of
proceed
the
with the
Seems like
manifestation.
an
She has
explanation
2
of vote.
minutes.
Thank you. Where the
Please proceed,
Constitution is
counsel, for the
silent,
prosecution.
the
This is
intent
the
of the
affidavit of
framers
authentication of digital
should guide the
evidence.
choice
Okay, could you
of the
repeat your
presiding
answer?
officer.
This is the
Any departure
affidavit
from the
of
traditional
authentication of digital
arrangement must be
evidence
approached
that I executed,
with caution,
but there are on
as
the
it may
annexes
place
that I
the
mentioned,
validity
there are some that
and the
unreadable.
legitimacy of
Thank you.
the
May I make a
entire
manifestation, Your Honor, please?
in doubt.
As to this
Mr. Presiding
affidavit, it
Officer,
pertains to a
I
video,
also respectfully
as to the
place
video
on
of the Vice
record
President
that there is a
resigning,
pending
Your Honor, please.
challenge
And we're
before the
supposed to
Supreme
present
Court
the
involving
flash
the June
drive
3rd
that
Senate
the defense
proceedings,
pointed that they only have
including the
the
authority
photocopy.
of the
Be
body
that as it
then
may, Your Honor,
that
please,
adopted
we
Senate
are
Resolution
waiving
number
the
430.
presentation of the
This
video
manifestation is
of the
made
Vice
to place on
President
record that
resigning.
we are not
Because,
yielding
Your
our
Honor, in the
position
pre-trial
in the pending
order,
case,
specifically
and
on
is
page 3
without
thereof,
prejudice to the
defense
final
already
determination
admitted
of the Supreme
that the
Court.
Vice President
Mr.
resigned
Presiding
on June 19, 2024.
The presiding
Your Honor,
officer
please.
was exactly about to
Thank you,
state
Senator
that,
Legarda.
there is no need for the counsel.
presiding
for
officer
the
would like to make
prosecution
a statement.
present evidence on an admitted fact.
Thank you so much, Your Honor, please. May I proceed, Your Honor, please?
Counsel may proceed.
Now, Mr. Witness, you also
Sa mga
mentioned
ginagalaan
that you
kong kapwa, Senator
authenticated
Judge, sa ating
a
mga minamahal
video
na kababayan,
where the Vice
sa mga
President
partido
said
sa
that
kaso
she
na
would
kabidbingin
not
sa Senado.
attend the
Isa
SONA
pong maganda at
and
pinagpalang
instead
hapon sa ating lahat.
publicly declared herself
Sa
as
araw na
the
ito, muling gagampanan ng Senado ang isa sa
designated
mga pinakasagradong
survivor.
tungkuling
Unquote.
iniatas ng
What proof,
saligang
if any,
batas.
do you have that you
Ang pagkupo
authenticated the
natin
video?
bilang isang
It's
impeachment
part
court para
of the
litisin at
affidavit
husgahan
of authentication
ang
of digital
pangalawang
evidence
Pangulo.
dated April 30,
Kinikilala ng ating saligang batas na may mga
2026,
opisyal na
which I
may hawak
previously
ng
identified,
kapangyarihan
What happened
ng-
next, if any,
at
after you
pananagutan na
authenticated the video,
napakabigat
the Vice President
para sa
announcing
kanila lamang
that she is
itinakda ang
skipping the
impeachment
SONA
bilang
and
tanging
declaring
paraan
herself
para
as the
sila ay
designated
panagutin.
survivor.
I saved
Article
the video
11,
on
Section
my
2 of the
laptop
Constitution
and
enumerates
saved a
these
copy on a
officials.
flash drive, sir.
The President, the
You
Vice
saved a
President,
copy
members of the
in a
Supreme Court,
flash
members of the
drive.
Constitutional
Now,
Commissions, and the Ombudsman.
If this flash
They are
drive
not ordinary
of the-
public
containing
officers.
the video where
According
the
to the
Vice
late former
President
Senate
said
President
she
Juan Ponce
declared
Enrile,
herself
they hold,
as the
quote,
designated
the
survivor,
highest and most
after skipping the
sensitive
SONA is
offices
shown
of
to
government.
you, will you be
They may be
able to
removed from
identify the
office
same?
only
Yes,
upon
sir.
conviction for offenses
Now,
of the highest
we are now in the
constitutional
process
gravity.
of confronting you
Culpable
with a
violation
flash
of the
drive
Constitution,
that
treason,
is
bribery,
previously
graft and
marked as
corruption,
Exhibit T,
other high crimes,
Roman
or
numeral
betrayal of the
4-24,
public trust.
small letter A, for the
Impeachment
prosecution,
is a means to
containing the
preserve
recording
constitutional
of the
government
Vice
through the
President,
removal and
where she
disqualification,
said
if
that she
so
would not
warranted,
attend
of
the
an
SONA
unfit
and
official
instead declared
from a
herself
position
as the
of public
quote,
trust.
designated survivor.
Limang
unquote,
opisyal pa lamang ang
previously
na-impeach
marked
ng
as
Kamara
Exhibit
de Representantes sa ating
P-Roman
kasaysayan
numeral 4,
sa ilalim ng
24 for the prosecution.
1987 Constitution. prosecution. Una,
Permission to unseal the flash
si
drive.
dating Pangulong Joseph Estrada noong
you, Your
2001 na ang paglilitis ay naungusan ng mga pangyayaring humantong sa EDSA 2. Ikalawa, si Ombudsman Mercy Gutierrez noong 2011 na nagbitiw bago pa man mabuksan ang kanyang paglilitis ng Senado. Ikatlo, si Chief Justice Renato Corona noong 2011 din na nilitis na patunayang nagkasala at inalis sa tungkulin ng impeachment court bilang punong mahistrado. Ikaapat, si dating
This is the
COMELEC
flash
Chairman
drive where
Andres
received the
Bautista
recording,
noong 2017, bagamat
Now,
nagbitiw
you
siya
also
sa pwesto
mentioned that you
bago pa man
authenticated a
mapadala
video
ang articles
that
of impeachment sa Senado.
On November
At
26,
ikalima,
2024,
si Vice
the
President
Vice
Sara
President
Duterte
did not
noong
deny
2025. Subalit ang
and
nasabing
instead
articles of impeachment
confirmed
ay dineklara ng Korte Suprema
her
null and void
utterances
ab
of
initio
contracting an
kung kaya't
assassin to
ito ay
kill the
inarchive
president and the two
ng
others.
Senado.
What proof, if any, do you
Siya
have that you authenticated
ay muling
the video?
na-impeach sa kasalukuyang
I have
taon
executed
at
an
ngayon
affidavit of
naharap sa
authentication of
paglilitis
digital
na ito.
evidence dated
Ipinakikita
April
lamang na maikling tala nito
27,
na ang impeachment ay hindi isang pangkaraniwang
26,
kaganapan.
sir.
Turing nga ng
And then,
Korte Suprema, quote,
aside from that,
it is the most
aside from
difficult
that
and
affidavit,
cumbersome
do you
mode
have,
of
other
removing
proof, if
a
any?
public officer from office.
Objection, Your Honor.
Subalit,
Leading.
ang paglilitis
If any,
na ito
Your Honor,
hindi
if any.
lamang hindi
Still
pangkaraniwan.
answerable by yes or no.
Ito ay tunay
Yes, sir.
na bukod tangi.
Ask an answer, Your Honor,
Bakit?
please.
Your Honor,
Una,
please, can the
Si
witness
Vice
be
Presidente
directed
Sara
to
Duterte ang kauna-unahang
wait
opisyal
until the court
na dalawang
rules on an
beses
objection
na
before
na-impeach
answering?
ng mababang
The
kapulungan.
witness
So directed.
Pangalawa,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ask an
siya ang
answer. So
kauna-unahang
what is that,
Vice Presidente
if any?
Yes, sir. I
na harap
also
sa
executed
paglilitis
an
ng isang
affidavit
impeachment
of
court.
authentication of
At
digital
pangalawang
evidence
opisyal lamang na
dated
halal ng sambayanan
June 11,
na sasailalim sa
2026.
So you
prosesong ito.
mentioned two affidavits
Pangatlo,
in result.
siya ay
Correct, Mr.
hinahalal
Witness?
ng may
Yes, sir.
pinakamalaking
Mr. Witness, I'm showing you a
mandatong
document
pinagkaloob ng
entitled
sambayanang
Affidavit of
Pilipino
Authentication
sa sinumang kandidato
of
sa ating
digital
kasaysayan.
evidence
Mahigit
dated
32 milyon o 61% ng kabuuang boto para sa ikalawang Pangulo.
numeral 4-27
Pang-apat,
and series.
Ang articles of impeachment laban sa kanya ay inendorso ng 277 na miyembro na kumakatawan sa ating mga mamamayan mula sa iba't ibang distrito at sektor at ng ating bansa. Nakatumbas ay mahigit 80% ng kabuuan ng Kamara de Representantes. Terminating an elected mandate before the end of its term is among the most drastic acts our constitutional democracy can undertake. This is why the trial must be guided with prudence, tempered by caution, and marked with unquestionable impartiality.
Your Honor, for the record,
We must avoid
the
even the appearance of
exhibits
impropriety
P-4-27
and observe the cold
to exhibit
neutrality of an impartial judge at all
P-4-27P
times. May I
are
therefore caution my
photocopies
fellow senator judges,
and
the
on-
prosecutors, the respondent, and their respective counsels and witnesses to refrain from making any
Exhibit
comments and disclosures to the public pertaining to the merits of this trial as mandated by the
4-27D.
impeachment rules itself.
It
Let us
would
heed the
seem
words of the
to be
Supreme Court
a mere
that said,
photocopy of a
impeachment is not a chance to settle
USB,
political scores.
an image
It is
of
not
a
a stage
USB
for
and
political
no
theater or
actual
personal
USB
attacks.
appended.
Because when the focus shifts to the
Confirms the
person
observation of the
rather
counsel
than the
corresponding
alleged wrongdoing,
insofar as,
the process loses its integrity.
4-27D is concerned.
As presiding officer,
Proceed, Your Honor, please.
I shall do my part to uphold the fairness and integrity of this
So what
process
relation, if
and
any,
shall
does
see
that
it through
document have
to its
with
proper
the affidavit
conclusion.
that you mentioned?
At this point, I would like to thank my colleagues for their trust and confidence. I did not seek nor did I ask for this responsibility, but neither will I shirk from fulfilling this
This
duty
is a
without
copy of
fear
the
or
affidavit of
favor.
authentication of digital
now
evidence
brings
that
me
I executed,
to the
sir,
threshold
dated
questions that will guide the
April
conduct of this trial
27,
and the
2026.
rulings of the chair.
And on page 2
First,
of that affidavit, may
what is
makikita
the number of votes needed to
John
convict
Mark Calidong.
the
Kaninong
respondent?
pirma ba yan?
Second,
Signature ko, sir.
what is the quantum
Then
of proof
sa
required to
page 2
sustain a
ng
judgment of
affidavit,
conviction
may
or acquittal
makikitang
in these
pirma sa
proceedings?
ibabaw ng pangalan
Third,
ng isang
how
attorney,
strictly
Ria
or
Vanessa
liberally will this
Asuncion.
court
Kaninong
apply the
pirma ba
rules in
yan?
resolving questions of
Pirma po ni
procedure
Attorney
and
Asuncion,
evidence?
sir.
At paano mo
On the
nalaman
first
na iyan ay isang pirma ni Attorney Asuncion?
The Constitution provides
Nakita ko po nung
that
pinirmahan
no
niya yung
person
document,
shall be
and I have
convicted
acted
without
upon
the
documents
concurrence
bearing
of
her
two-thirds
signature, sir.
of
Okay.
all
Mr. Witness,
the
you also
members of the
mentioned
Senate.
of the other
With
affidavit
24
on the
members
collection
of the Senate.
preservation. No?
A
Sinabi
literal
mo dated
interpretation of
June
this
11,
means that conviction
2026.
requires the affirmative
Di po ba?
vote of
Yes,
at
sir.
least
Na yung kung
16
affidavit na
senator
iyan,
judges.
ipapakita sa'yo,
This literal
ma-identify
interpretation
mo ba
finds
yung
direct
affidavit
support
na
in
yan?
the 2000
Yes,
case
sir.
of Bayan
Now,
versus
I'm showing
Zamora,
you, the
which
prosecution is
concerned the
showing
Senate's
you
compliance
a
with
copy
the
of that
two-thirds vote required to
affidavit
concur
that is
in a treaty.
previously marked, Exhibit T,
Despite having only 23 incumbent senators at that
for the
time,
prosecution,
then
may you
Senator
peruse the same.
Gloria Macapagal Arroyo was elected as Vice President. Therefore, there were only 23
And
senators.
for
The court held The
For the
Charter
record, Your Honor, I'm
provides
about
that
to
the
ask
Senate
a
shall
few
be
more
composed of
questions, and
24
the
senators.
prosecution is finally
Without
done
a
with this
tinge of
first
doubt,
witness.
two-thirds of the figure, or not less than 16 members, is an unquestionable compliance with the requisite number of votes mentioned in Section 21 of Article 7. It behooves, therefore, all of us to observe the same fidelity with the Constitution in this trial, which affects not only the mere ratification of a treaty, but more so affects the substantial rights of the respondent, as well as the sovereign will of the people as expressed in the overwhelming mandate given to her. This is the prevailing law today, and whether we agree with it or not, we must abide by it. However, those who disagree are not without recourse, because this is without prejudice to the right of any party who holds a different view to seek judicial relief. And should the Supreme Court, who possesses the sole authority to interpret the Constitution by virtue of its power of judicial review, render a different ruling on this question,
Honor,
other
Counsel
than
for
what
Respondent.
the Chair has
Your Honor,
stated,
for
this Court
Exhibits
and this
P-4-28
representation shall faithfully abide
to
by that
exhibits-
ruling of the
to
Supreme Court.
Exhibit P-4-28.
On the question of quantum of proof,